maverick from the land of the five rivers.
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We live. You already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show, one of the best late night shows out there, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. When we got a few things to talk about, obviously today, joint practice, preseason is upon us. Another preseason game upon us, Houston Texans. But we also had a joint practice today, so that was a nice little, I want to say a test, but a good way for, young players to kind of exactly. So, hey, we're gonna get into that conversation. We appreciate everybody pulling up. We see y'all, man. Hey. One of the Play Black crew vets in the building, man. My brother Yaya in the building, man. What's good? Chill Ray in the building. What's good? Ruben, what's good? So we're going to get into the usual stuff. Obviously, flag on a play, notable quotables, all that good stuff, and obviously get into the conversation of everything Raiders. But recently, I sat down with Ryan Holmes. He's a guy that I've been following on Twitter for years. He's been breaking down film. He's got his podcast on YouTube. Definitely check him out. We had a good conversation, so I'm going to go ahead and play this interview, and we're going to get into the show. Man, we have a special guest in the building. We got Ryan Holmes, man. This is a guy that I followed on Twitter for years, and he's a guy that knows his stuff. And he has also a YouTube channel as well. If you want to let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, I do a show called the Put On Raiders podcast with Dwayne Douglas. Just go to YouTube and search Put On Raiders podcast, and it'll pop up. We usually try to record one a week once the season gets rolling, maybe two. So you can find us there.
Yeah, man. Like over the years, I've been paying attention to your that's how I really kind of found you was on Twitter, and you just kind of breaking down the team from afar and like kind of breaking down film. And I always thought you had really good takes. This offseason has kind of been off season of positivity. Usually that's what it is. Yeah. During the off season, everybody's always excited about, what could be. But in this case, like the Raiders got a brand new head coach, a young coach, a bright offensive mind in Clint Kubiak. And then they obviously landed hopefully their franchise quarterback of the future in Fernando Mendoza. Like, what was your take on the offseason?
No, I thought it was a good offseason. You want to marry the head coach with the quarterback. You want to bring them in together. Ideally, you would bring the GM in together as well and have all three, but Spytek's only been here a year. So he made the right decision going to year two. It didn't work with Pete Carroll. Move on. Get the offensive-minded head coach that can build around the quarterback. You want Fernando to learn the system. You want him to be in it day in and day out so that by the time you get to year two, year three, you're just expanding, and he already knows all the checks, all the calls. And that's how you see teams be successful. You can't have a quarterback and a new coordinator every year. So they're going to grow this together. And that's what Raider fans have been waiting for. We've been waiting for this for a long time, to get that offensive head coach with that young quarterback and build this thing from the ground up.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, they had a pretty active offseason, starting free agency, and then obviously the draft, and now we're here in training camp. They just had their first preseason game. What was your take on the offense this preseason? This first preseason game?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see the first team offense with Kirk Cousins go right down the field, convert third downs, run the football. That's the key thing with Kubiak's system. They have to run the ball. You can't have Kirk Cousins dropping back 35 or 40 times. So feed Ashton Gente. You took him number 6 in the draft for a reason. We'll see the offensive line play much better this year with a better coaching staff than they did last year. Colton Miller's back. You signed Tyler Linderbaum to be the foundational pieces on that line, and just build with the young guys. That's the theme of this team, is build with the young players, whether that's DJ Glaze, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Caleb Rogers. They brought in a veteran and Spencer Burford, who knows this system, that knows the Shanahan system, obviously from San Francisco. So we'll see where this goes. The run blocking in the first week was much better than anything we saw on tape last year.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I just remember that first preseason game last year against Seattle, which Clint Kubiak was actually coaching on the other side, and it's like night and day difference from how the offensive line played that game to now, which is hopefully a sign of good to come. You know what I mean, this season. But obviously it's the first preseason game. But a lot of talk's been happening with the quarterback situation here. I know Clint Kubiak kind of came out and said, "Hey, Kirk Cousins is the starter," but you got to believe that they're paying attention to Fernando and his just ability to get better with each rep. And this is a guy that critics were saying he's never played in under center. It's gonna be an adjustment period for him. And what did you see from Fernando from that standpoint, from his footwork, from him playing under center, play action, which is going to be a heavy in this offense, you would think, with Clint Kubiak being the coach in his offense, bringing his offense from Seattle. Do you think, can you see is there a chance that Fernando might be able to start week 1, or do you don't think that's in the plans?
I hope it's in the plans, but I don't think it's in the plans. I think they're going to roll with Cousins here for a few weeks at least. My prediction is like week 4 or 5, we're going to see Fernando. if this team gets off to a hot start, they're going to stick with Cousins. He's a veteran. He knows the system. I think eventually what'll happen is Kirk Cousins is not going to push the ball down the field. So if they can't run the ball very well early in the season, and defenses can bring those safeties down, load the box, and then take away the underneath stuff, like Cousins is going to have a problem. And he's not very mobile anymore. He doesn't have a lot of arm strength. At that point, once the season starts to go the wrong way, play the rookie. Get Fernando in there, take his lumps this year. And like we said, build for the future. I think the criticism of today's quarterbacks in college is they don't play under center. You can teach that. That's a very teachable thing to do. So I don't ever really view that as a giant negative on a guy coming out of the draft. But I thought he played with good footwork, especially some of those play action fakes. Just get his feet aligned. The best thing I saw from Fernando Mendoza in this game was going through his progressions. It's 1 to 2 to 3, hit the backside, 4 on the dig. And he did it several times. So it's good to see a quarterback who's not panicking if the first read's not there, trying to tuck it and run. He was going through the offense like a veteran. And the other thing that I came away with Fernando was he got the calls in and out of the huddle. This is a long offense as far as verbatim to spit out in the huddle to tell guys what to do. And for him to get in and out of the huddle, you didn't see them run up against the play clock. You didn't see any delay of games that you typically see with young quarterbacks. You saw him motioning guys from one side of the offense to the other. He moved the running back and on the touchdown to Jack Besh from the left to the right. He saw the linebacker shift. So just stuff that veteran quarterbacks do. You saw him do that in the first game. Now, we'll see what he does when they play the Houston Texans. This is a much better defense. But I think Fernando, and I've said this on the Put on Raiders podcast, he's played a lot of football in college. This isn't a guy that played 12, 15 games. He's played 35, 40 games in college. He's seen a lot. He's run a lot of different offenses. So he'll pick up on this quickly. He's a smart guy. And like I said, for me personally, I'd like to see him week 1. We're not going to see that. But I think we will see him by week 4 or 5.
The reason why it can be I think it could be a conversation is that, like, I was just thinking about it, like, this is a guy that went from Cal to Indiana and he got so much better. Then this is the same guy in that Indiana season where he looked like a different quarterback from the beginning of that college season all the way to the playoffs. So he gets better. He gets better with more reps because you got to think that Indiana team, that was his first year in that offense, in that scheme. So he was just getting better week in, week out. And then I'm sure from what we heard from OTAs, there was a little bit of like struggles with Fernando in the beginning at some point in the OTAs, but it feels like he's gotten better from there. So this is a guy, I think he just gets better with more reps. The question to me was, can they protect him and can they run the football? Those are do you feel like those are the two, at least the minimums that you have to have on offense in order to protect the quarterback? Or do you think you need to have more than that at the very minimum?
I think the play of the whole team is part of this, because if the defense is giving up 24 to 27 a game, it doesn't really matter. But as far as the quarterback to survive, they have to protect him. They have to run the football. They have to keep the down and distance manageable. You can't have him dropping back 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12. You got to keep the penalties to a minimum. You can't, like I said, you can't get behind the sticks. You're going to see play action early, but to get him out there, if you threw him in last year's offense where you couldn't run the football, there was no spacing on offense, that would be a disaster. So you don't want that. But Clint Kubiak's got a clear system here. The offensive line is playing better. And I think if you can just get average play out of the offensive line, then you throw him out there. It doesn't need to be a top 5, top 10 unit, but like if you can put him out there and they're going to protect him enough, and the running back's going to be able to pick up the pressures, whether it's a linebacker coming free or a safety. If they can just figure that out on 3rd and long and keep him upright, I think you have to play him.
Yeah, that's that. I agree with that. But, the message could be coming from up top when you talk about Fernando not starting week 1, because we've heard, minority owner Tom Brady talk about, how the quarterback development is a problem and quarterbacks need to stay on the bench. Do you think his influence is that strong where he's kind of telling the coaches what they should do with the quarterback in terms of
I think it is, but at the same time, you hired Clint Kubiak to run this team. Let the coach coach. It shouldn't be coming from upstairs. And if Fernando gives him the best opportunity to win, then you play Fernando. Obviously, week 1, they're probably more comfortable with Cousins just because he's been in the offense. He knows the checks. He knows the reads. He's seen all these different coverages. But like I said, if this team's 2-5, 1-4 in like weeks, 5, 6, 7, then there's no reason to stay with Cousins. because there is going to be a learning curve, whether he plays this year, whether he plays week 1, week 7, or even next year. Like, he needs these live reps. He needs to get in there and see defenses and the rotations of the safeties and understand coverages and where guys are. And you can do as much as you can standing there in practice, but once the regular season starts, the number 2 quarterback's not getting reps. He's running scout team. So like, he's not running the Raiders offense once the season starts if he's doing that. So like, you need to get him out on the field sooner than later. Like I said, I don't think this is a playoff team. You know, we want to talk about positives here.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, you don't want to destroy him. But I think the offense is better. Brock Bowers is there. Genty's there. Naylor's serviceable. You have Mayer. So there's enough around him. But if the defense, like I said, this is a team thing where you have to know when to put. If the defense isn't playing very well and you're having to play catch up a lot, you don't want him in that situation either.
Okay, you talk about, you know, making sure, you know, giving him the best possible, you know, giving him an easy pathway to get on the field, but also have him have, you know, easy success. And that part of that is having the right players around him. And you talk about, you know, the wide receivers on this team. That's kind of been the big topic for me. It's been a glaring issue for over a couple of seasons now. I mean, we had Jacoby Myers, but everything after him I always thought was a question mark. You look at like the move they had before last season, right before the season when they got Amari Cooper. That was like a Hail Mary, like, okay, we need to figure out something before the season starts. And then fast forward now, they're kind of rolling with the youth movement on top of, you know, picking up a guy that you mentioned, Jalen Naylor. You also mentioned Jack Besh. Now, Jack Besh, last year's 2nd round pick, what have you seen from him? And do you think that he's going to have a big role on this offense moving forward?
I think they're going to play a lot of 12 personnel, so I don't know how much we're going to see of Jack Besh. If Naylor and Tucker stay healthy, they're going to play wide receiver. You'll have packages where you bring in Besh, whether, you know, if they want to run the ball or on early downs, or you need him to come in and crack a safety. He'll be kind of that safety valve underneath, but the problem you're going to have is he's not going to win vertically. So he's a contested catch guy, but you also have Bowers and Mayer who are going to be those underneath targets too. So you can't have too many of them, and you're going to have the dump offs to the running back. So the best thing for a quarterback is to have a safety blanket. He has 2 of them in Bowers and Mayer. So the quarterback's got 2 guys that can win in the middle of the field, and you also have Ashton Genty or even Mike Washington out of the backfield. So I don't think you're going to see a ton of production from the wide receivers. I think I said yesterday, I recorded the Put on Raiders podcast, if Jack Besh gets 40 catches for 500 yards and 5 or 6 touchdowns, that's a good season. Because when you start lining up the pecking order of touches, you're going to give the ball to Genty and out of the backfield, hopefully 250 times. You're going to throw it to him 50. You're going to throw it 130 times to Bowers. You're going to throw it to Tucker. You're going to throw it to Mayer. You're going to throw it to Naylor. Jack Besh is 5th or 6th in the pecking order, whoever that wide receiver is. So they're not going to get a ton of balls, but when he does get opportunities, he has to make the most of them.
Yeah. And they talk about Besh kind of being a guy that, like, will basically be a guy that probably will impact the run game because he's a very good blocker at wide receiver. So maybe when they go into 11 personnel, maybe it could be a situation where if he's a good enough blocker, like they say he is, you pair him up with Brock Bowers. It's almost like essentially a 12 personnel out there because he can run the ball because you got 2 guys. Like, because I'm comparing it to what the Rams kind of do with forgetting the name of the receiver that they have over there that essentially has the same role as Jack Besh. Do you see that happening as well? Like them kind of going to 11 personnel and kind of running the football and using Besh kind of as like another blocker out there and also being like an outlet receiver?
Well, he played tight end his freshman year at LSU, so he's used to blocking inside. If you do that, you probably take Bowers off the field. And you want Mayer and Besh doing that, but then it's kind of a tell for the defense because you don't want Bowers lined up being an inline blocker that much either. So I don't know how much you would do that. I think when they're gonna go 12 personnel a lot here, you're gonna see 21 personnel, you're gonna see 22 personnel. So you're gonna see the fullback in there and Hayward as well. You're gonna see 2 backs, 2 tight ends, unless they fall behind and it's 3rd and long. But this is gonna be a power running team, play action. That's where they're gonna take their shots. But I think Besh is gonna play a lot. Like I said, I just don't know what kind of numbers he's gonna put up. And if you look at Kubiak's system last year, they basically threw the ball to 1 wide receiver and Jackson Smith and Jigba. They threw it to A.J. Barner, and then they threw it to the backs. Like, there wasn't a lot of guys involved in their passing game. So as long as they stay healthy, you're going to see a heavy dose of Genty, Bowers, Mayer, and then obviously I think Tucker's going to get a little bit involved here with Naylor. I don't know how far down the pecking order we're going here.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much on Besh, but how did you feel about him as a 2nd round pick?
I thought it was a reach at that point because he's not explosive. He's not a guy that wins down the field. So if you wanted him to be a replacement for Jacoby Myers and you wanted him to be kind of that physical guy that goes over the middle, this team didn't really need that when you have Mayer and Bowers already on the roster. They needed a vertical threat that could win. They tried that with Thornton. I'm not a huge Thornton guy. I don't know if Thornton's going to make the team.
Man,
I remember recording last year, like towards the end of the year, and I made a comment like in 3 years he's going to be out of the league, and people thought I was crazy. And now we're talking about like he probably won't even be on the team because he doesn't win. Like he's fast, he's big, but he's not a 50-50 guy. He doesn't have very good hands. He can't get off press, and he can't create separation. Like I don't know what you have in Dante Thornton Jr.
Yeah, it seems like the writing is on a wall. I think he's hurt right now, so hopefully he can get out there and maybe prove to his coaching staff. But it's not looking too good for Thornton right now as far as his odds of making the team because you got
Malik Benson has taken that role. So
there's some people that think Malik Benson could be starting at some point this season. You know what I mean? It's possible with this wide receiver.
I went to training camp a couple of Mondays ago, and he stands out right away. Like he gets open, he can catch the ball. He's really fast. Now you need verticality in this offense to clear things out. So like maybe he's doing cardio, like if he's just running. But you have Tucker that's doing that as well. So those two guys are probably going to be your vertical guys to clear out everything underneath for everyone else, so everyone else can eat. Can't have everyone running, in the 10 to 15 yard route. Someone's got to be a vertical shot here.
Right. So what did you see? What standed out since you were at training camp a couple months ago? What stood out to you that caught your eye on the team?
I think the first thing was just watching Fernando stand next to Kirk Cousins and throw the football. It's night and day. Like Kirk Cousins doesn't have a lot of arm strength. He's not very mobile. And then you see Fernando rip it and you're like, yeah, like it's a noticeable difference in arm talent.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. I think Quay Walker stands out just how big and physical he is. Like seeing him up close and personal, like he's a giant linebacker. And I think they're going to play him on the edge. He's going to play on the edge too. They were moving him around a lot. So he's not just going to line up as an inside backer. He will go out on the edge with Crosby on the other side at some point in some of these packages. And just they're going to play a lot of big nickel, I think, as well. You're going to see 3 safeties on the field. Now, whether that's Chin and Polamalu and Stukes, like Teron Johnson was playing a lot of free safety. I think he'll settle in as the nickel. But we'll see. I think the defense has a chance to be average. Like if they can just be average and create some turnovers, they can be good. I don't know how physical the defensive tackles are going to be stopping the run. That's a big concern because they're going to play a lot of light boxes. They're going to play a lot of 6-man fronts or 6-man boxes with 2 deep safeties. And teams are going to run at them. And right now they basically have, Hemingway is a 3 technique and so is Butler. Those guys are not run stuffers, so they don't really have that beef on the inside, which is probably why they went out yesterday and signed the lineman from the Texans. Can't pronounce his name, Fatu Sakai, something like that. Big dude. He's like 6'4", 325.
I struggle with that too. I struggle with names too. But
yeah,
you talked about it. The defense is obviously the elephant in the room. Obviously, that first preseason game wasn't really a good showing. It is just a preseason game. We get it. It's vanilla. But it did seem like the Raiders' defensive line, without Max Crosby, wasn't really getting to the quarterback. I mean, Patrick Johnson got the first sack of the night, and that was like well into like the 3rd or 4th quarter, which I don't know how much stock you could put into that. But you guys like Kuntz kind of flashed a little bit. I don't know if you were able to like kind of look at the defensive line and how they were able to maybe there's some positive there. Like I've seen Kuntz kind of flash a little bit around the corner, but was there? I mean, what was your take on the defensive performance last preseason game against the Cardinals?
It's hard. We're just trying to get a read on what Rob Leonard's going to do because he's never been a coordinator. They played a lot of man, and it didn't work. Like they got carved up pretty easily by the quarterbacks, by the Cardinals. But you heard Kubiak after the game basically saying, we're just testing these guys. We want to see who can do what, and basically played a lot of man. I think they're going to end up being more of a zone team. I mean, that's what Seattle is. So if he's bringing over some sort of variation of the Mike McDonald defense, you're going to see a lot of zone. But I think in preseason, you just want to see players like who's going to win, who can win their one-on-one. So you just line them up. You don't do any stunts on the defensive line. It's like, go get them one-on-one. It's very different than a regular season game. So I don't put a lot of stock into the outcome. It's more, looking at players, their movement skills, their traits, do they flash, like things like that. So like we see guys all the time, like have big preseasons and not even make the team. Lewis Rankin back in the day. Like we could just start rattling off guys that were like, oh, this guy's going to impact. And the guys that are going to impact this team didn't really play. They played one series if they played that the first week. So the depth on this team is very, very young. I talked about this yesterday. Like if you look at the offensive line, your three primary backups are a rookie in Zune, Grant, and Rogers. They're all first and second year guys. They need a veteran. So they'll probably go out and get a veteran at some point that can play backup center, guard. They need that. I don't think Jordan Meredith's going to make this team. And then if you look at the defense, the second team unit on defense is all first and second year guys too. Eichenberg's a third year guy. So like they are very, very young. They need to stay very healthy with their starters to make a run here and get into the middle of the season. But we're going to see a lot of young players play, and hopefully, and that's what happens in a rebuild. Like I know a lot of people think this team might win 10, 11, 12 games, and I'd be excited if that happens, but I just don't see that happening. But I do think this team can win 7 or 8 games and have a lot of young players ascend and play better as the season goes on. And now you're cooking in 2028, especially once Fernando gets 8 or 10 games under his belt.
Okay. That's a little bit of positivity than what I've been hearing the last few days.
I mean, they won 3 games last year, so let's be honest. Like this team, if they can get to 7 or 8, they more than doubled, almost tripled their win total.
Oh no, for sure. That's a successful season in my eyes. I mean, like literally, we all can see that this is a rebuilding team. As soon as you get a quarterback like Mendoza, number 1 pick, it's all about kind of his development the first couple seasons, and then after that, like you kind of hopefully, you can make a deep playoff run. But so speaking about the defense, the secondary is really young. Who do you think comes out? I'm going to ask for some predictions here. Who do you think is going to be the starting CB2 come week 1?
Darian Porter. I think Porter's going to win the job.
Yeah, I know Matt.
And he looked good at training camp the day I was there. And he's big and he's long and he's a developing guy that hasn't played a lot of corner. I think you run him out there and we'll see.
Yeah, I know Massis is in the mix, and then you got McCoy. McCoy's like kind of like the sleeping giant. He hasn't played football last couple seasons because of of that injury. Do you think that he at some point maybe contributes to this team as a number 2 corner, or it's just this season is more of just kind of getting him healthy?
I think it's getting him healthy, but he's going to play. They're going to have packages. If they go nickel or they go dime, there's going to be situations get him on the field. I think they're going to take it slowly. They're not going to push it. You're not going to see him run out there. Get him integrated on special teams. Just get him used to being out running on the field again. The Raiders always have injuries in the secondary. They're going to need him at some point. I just don't think he's physically ready to go out and play day one. He hasn't played in 18 months, so we'll see. I think the one guy who didn't play in the game that people don't talk about is DeCamerion Richardson was good the day I was at camp too. Like he's a long, young corner that he's in the mix here. He was running second team during practice that day, so let's not sleep on him. He's going to make this team, and if they do want to play a lot of man, he might be a guy that gets more snaps than we think. Yeah,
I think like the draft that he came out of, he was like one of the best athletes to come out of the draft corner. So yeah, I mean, maybe he's figured it all out this offseason. So that's something to keep an eye on. Another young guy in the secondary that was a second round pick is Tre'Don Stukes. He's a guy like we're not hearing too much about. There's a little slow start in terms of like him getting reps. I know you were there in training camp. Did you see him flash a little bit? Was he a guy that impressed you, or what did you see from him? And also in the preseason game.
Yeah, I think he was fine in the preseason game. The one thing that you get when you're going to play 2 high safeties and then the other team's not pushing the ball down the field, you're not going to see him a lot. They're not going to show up on the broadcast view. He did miss a tackle in the backfield where he shot through. I think it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, where I think Jeremiah Love got to the outside. You'd like to see him make that play, but you'd like to see him be aggressive and get through that hole too. I think what's going to happen is he's going to end up being in the free safety, and Teron Johnson's going to play nickel. Now, if they go big personnel, then you can put Johnson at free safety. But Stukes is going to play plenty on defense, and eventually, I think he's going to be the backup nickel as well. If you're playing a light box, your nickel has to be physical. It basically has to be a linebacker and get involved in run fits. That's not Greedy Vance's strong suit. So, I know fans love Greedy Vance. He went to USC. He's on the roster bubble for me because he's just not that physical slot that you need in this style of defense, where he's coming off the edge and being a blitzer and basically being a linebacker in some of these fronts. So I think Stukes, he got a lot more reps this week with the ones, it sounds like. And I do think we're going to see him play some nickel here, hopefully against Houston and see him get down in the box to see if he can make some plays.
Okay. Because some people are frustrated. They're like, man, this guy Polamalu shouldn't be starting at free safety. They need they need to put Stooks out there. But then people start thinking, like, is that a sign that Stooks is not, playing up to what he needs to play in order to overtake Polamalu?
No, I think it's a new defense for everyone, and they're probably leaning towards the veterans early in camp. They've only had a handful of padded practices. I think it's a lot of overreaction. Like, these guys aren't going to be day one starters, day one of camp. Like, they have to go through camp and earn their roles. At the end of the day, he's a better player than Polamalu, and he'll end up playing over him. But Polamalu's a veteran. He's been around 4 or 5 years. He got kind of a second contract with the team. He's still a valuable player for them in the right role. It's probably going to be more in like a nickel linebacker or strong safety, because Jeremy Chin, when I was there, when they kicked Quay Walker out to edge, Chin moved down and played a nickel backer. So then your strong safety at that point would probably pull him out. That'll probably be his role when they go to those kind of defenses. So he'll have a role. He'll be on special teams. He'll play. If someone's injured, you got to throw him out there. You don't have a lot of depth in the secondary, but I think Stooks is going to play a lot, and he's going to surprise some people early, like week 1, week 2. He'll be out on the field.
Yeah. And we haven't had like a playmaking safety in a while. We honestly, we haven't had like a true free safety, with range in a while. I mean, maybe since, I guess you could put Morrig in there, possibly Morrig. When he came out,
Trayvon Morrig.
Yeah, but then like he kind of settled in at strong safety, which was kind of weird. He went from free to strong, and he kind of found a role there. But yeah, like hopefully the Raiders defense could. It seems like they're gonna have some growing pains early on, like trying to figure out, especially when you got a first year DC and Rob Leonard, because we really don't know. We're speculating on what it's gonna look like with Rob Leonard, but we don't know how it's gonna look like for him. I mean, he could possibly be in and over his head.
We don't know. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I know a lot of people want to just connect the dots. Well, he was with Mike McDonald, but he was only there for 1 year in Baltimore before McDonald went to Seattle. We don't know if McDonald was running that same defense in Baltimore with the same coverages, the same blitzes. Like, he's probably evolved in his time in Seattle. Most of his career has been with Patrick Graham. So I think some of the foundation of this defense is going to be what we saw Patrick Graham do, and then he'll mix it in. But they're not going to come out week 1 and start throwing a bunch of exotic looks at teams. Like, the only way they can do that is they have to stop the run and get in 3rd and long. 1st and 2nd down is going to be very basic, and then it's up to the players to win those reps and get into the opportunities to have some of these defensive looks.
For sure, 100%. A big moment in preseason is coming up with that joint practice. I mean, during this training camp period, I think that joint practice has become like the unofficial 3rd preseason game. In years past, that 3rd preseason game used to be like that dress rehearsal game where, we'll see most of the starters kind of play well into the first half. I mean, the only thing that's I would say the big difference is that the fans won't be able to see it firsthand like we're watching that. So it's going to be different in that way, but we're going to be hearing a lot of stuff from that joint practice. Hopefully we hear some good things. I mean, what are you looking forward to hearing from that joint practice against the Texans, which is a good, formidable team right now?
I think why coaches like the joint practice is they have control of every situation. If you want to run 10 red zone plays in a row with your first team offense against first team defense, you can do that. If you want to run, inside zone for 10 straight plays, you can do that. Like, it's not like a regular football game where everything's dictated by down and distance. So like, you can get the players the looks you want. I've actually been to a joint practice when the Raiders played the Rams a few years ago, and the Raiders just smoked them. They smoked them, and then the Rams won the Super Bowl. So like, I don't know how much you can take from it, but it's good. These are live reps where you can work on situations, and I think don't get too lost in some of the reports. Some of it could be one-on-one stuff where DB gives up a big completion. Like, unless it happens in a team period, it doesn't really matter. Like, so I don't pay attention to the one-on-one reps. I want to know what happens when it's 11 on 11.
Yes.
So we'll see, but it's interesting. It should be it should be good. The Raiders are gonna have to run the football. Like, if they can establish the run and beat up on the Texans, that's a good sign. But if the Texans defense just dominates them, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, you definitely want to also hear that. I'm hoping that we can hear that Fernando's getting some first team reps, because I do want him to spend some time with the first team and maybe develop at least a level of like chemistry with guys like Brock and the starters on offense. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. I mean, just preseason training camp outlook up until the regular season. What do you want to see from this team? What do you want this team to improve on, at least before the season starts?
I think just continuity on the offensive line. That's going to be the key thing, and then develop some sort of pass rush, and figure out, can we get pressure? Can someone win other than Max Crosby? Because last year when you turn on the film, he's getting double and triple team. No one was in on their one-on-one. So whether that's Kuntz, Tonka Hemingway on the inside, can it be Kwity Paye? Someone's going to have to step up on this defensive front and win. And the offensive line is going to have to run block to keep this offense moving. So those are the main things. Obviously, they have to win in the trenches. So that's where I'll be focused on, seeing how this team improves.
Yeah, man. Ryan, man, appreciate you coming on. Great conversation. Hey, everybody, you guys need to check him out. Great follow on Twitter, as well as his podcast. Let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff, Ryan.
Yeah, on Twitter, it's simple. It's at RHOLM22. And then if you go to YouTube and want to watch the podcast, it's Put On Raiders Podcast. Just search that. It'll come up with Dwayne Douglas and myself.
Oh, man, it's perfect, man. Everybody watching, the show will continue. Appreciate Ryan for coming on, man. Hopefully have you on soon.
All right, thank you.
Yep. We back, man. Back to the live broadcast. Shout out to my guy, Ryan Holmes, man. Appreciate for making time to chop it up with us about the Raiders. Obviously, I appreciate his takes on the team. It was a cool conversation. Hopefully we'll have him on soon as well. Bring Severe into the conversation. It was just, man, sometimes getting people on is everybody got different schedules. Right. But usually you definitely want to follow us on every platform, but most importantly Around the Shield. Around the Shield is when we have usually our guests, but we made it happen with our guy Ryan. So basically stay tuned for Around the Shield, where we have, we'll try to get people on and have some good conversations. And sometimes you'll see the usual people on there too as well. So stay tuned for that. But that being said, that was a conversation before the joint practice. The joint practice happened today, and let's just say, the Texans let the Raiders know who's boss. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
They let them know who's running the show. They dominate from what we were hearing. What I liked about joint practices, one of the things that I think we made a joke about was how much people are going to be covering the practice, just because you have two teams, two different markets, two different medias just covering a team. So you're seeing, people have opinions and perspectives, and most importantly, they're just giving us the information, because the opinions and things like that, we can kind of figure that part out, but it's just more so just getting the information. And it just sounded like Raiders just lost the war in the trenches, to be honest with you. I mean, the defensive line of the Texans pretty much took over the game in the joint practice. Hopefully, I mean,
we lost the war everywhere, but the trenches was the biggest difference.
I get it, but I think it starts there though. It's like a domino effect, and it's like at the end of the day, like I can't get mad, because I'm like, on paper, like I'm not expecting them to win that battle. Like no. Now we do play Denver twice a year. That's you know what I'm saying? Like that's one of those we're gonna have to buckle up, have a game plan. And that's the thing too. It's not like usually in situations where it's like this, the Raiders, you would like to think, would have a plan. They're going to have a plan because they're going to know what's coming. So they're going to try to, like, kind of control what they try to do things to kind of slow things down. But obviously it's a joint practice. Like my guy Ryan Holmes says, it's just kind of a situation where, coaches can get together, run situational football, run different situations, and you're going against different opponents. In this case, the Texans, man, they're one of the elite defenses in the NFL, led by their head coach, who's a defensive-minded coach. And, it is what it is. But for me, I appreciate that the Raiders actually put Mendoza out there for, like, first-team reps. That was good to see. There was some connection. And, it's funny, too. People in the Texans media, they were pretty impressed with Mendoza. And some people went on, some guys went out on a limb, was like, they were asked like, hey, between Cousins and Mendoza, who are you going with? They're like Mendoza all the way. Like, he just, it's just, and we'll see how it goes. But like, it's just kind of okay, different set of eyes. You know, they don't have nothing to. It's like they don't have to say anything to go eat, like to go either way. It's just they went and they seen the practice just like everybody else, and one of the media guys, I forgot what his name, but he was like I think Mendoza should be the guy early on, but we'll see how it shakes out. But
did they give reasoning behind it though?
I'm gonna pull it up. I'll pull it up. In the meantime, Severe, what was your take on joint practice? I'll try to pull up the exact quote.
Yeah, obviously, the Raiders struggled mightily against the Texans. And by Ryan Holmes' logic, we're going to win a Super Bowl. So, end of the season, y'all don't need to watch anymore. We're going to win a Super Bowl because we struggled in joint practices. But I mean, it was just pure, from what I heard, just pure domination. And like I said, that's why I question what do people see in Fernando Mendoza, because from what I was hearing initially, from what I was reading initially, like Fernando Mendoza had moments. He had some nice throws, but he also struggled on several occasions. He had a pick 6 in the red zone, and I want to say a play or two before that, Kamari Lassiter should have also picked him off. So he struggled with accuracy, struggled with decision making. So that's what I was wondering. And from all accounts, I think Kirk had an interception too, from what I recall. But other than that, he was. Obviously, the talent, there's a talent disparity there. Fernando Mendoza.
Real quick, is it still an echo? Let me know. Is it an echo for Severe? Shout out to everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. People in the chat saying there's an echo with Severe. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if there's an echo.
Yeah, let me know. Check. I'm still echoing. Let us know. But yeah, so that's what I'm wondering, and which is to be expected. Like I didn't expect Fernando Mendoza to go out there, play lights out. Was playing one of the better defenses in the league, one of the better defensive minds in the league. And we already know what D'Amico Ryans does. They're by yardage, I want to say they were the best defense in the league last year. For sure, I want to say they were top 3, possibly even top 2 in terms of scoring defense. So, like they're a formidable opponent for Fernando Mendoza to even have, some flashes in that situation. That's a positive step. So, but I think we just need to hopefully this experience.
All right. Cool. Are you muted? Severe. Hey, can you hear me? You hear me? Okay. They're saying that you're muted. There's a delay. Yes, it was fixed for a second. So what we gonna do? Severe. What we're gonna do is, hold on one second. Let me try to. Hey, shout out to everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Can y'all hear me? Can't hear? Okay. Okay. We gonna figure this out. Don't worry, y'all. All right. So, Severe, if you can go ahead and come back. Yeah. Let's try that out. Let's check that out. All right. So, in the meantime, let's see. Oh man, I can't even duplicate this. All right, it's all good. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Why is my audio always working? Damn, it's just the show is just. All right, you about to get you about to go. You about to go. All right. Here we go. We getting Severe back in just a second. Yeah, the audio issues always be messing with you. Can you hear me? Nah, you mute. You mute now. Unmute yourself. You can't unmute yourself? Oh, damn. Man, don't tell me that the technical difficulties of okay. Come back in. Come back in. Come back in. All right, y'all. Hey, yeah, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know, before Severe comes back in, okay, he's back. I was gonna get into the offensive line, but we're gonna let him finish his thought. If he is back better than ever. Come on. Severe. Here we go. Your audio went out? Hold on, let me see. Oh, now. Let me see. How about now, Severe? Test. Test. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Everything's good on your end? Everything's good on your end? We're under attack, y'all. Still muted. Yeah. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So I kind of see what everybody's seeing now. Before you left, I did hear you, but then I went to the live broadcast on YouTube and I could see what everybody was seeing or hearing. So let me try to see on my end what I can do. And let's unmute this. Test. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold up. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. All right, cool. Man, let's see. Hold up. Why was it not working? All right. Can we hear? Chat, salute to the night crew in the building, man. Can y'all hear Severe? Let me know. I can hear him perfectly. Let me go to the live. Let me check this. Let me see this. Hey, all right, all right. We good. We good. We good. All right. Ken said we good, man. I trust Ken. Chill Ray, I trust you. We can hear him. All right, I trust Chill Ray. Come on, appreciate y'all. Appreciate the night crew, man. I always trust the night crew, man. Let's go. Go. Yep. Yes, sir. We all good to go. So finish your thought, man. My bad. Hey. They can't hear you. They can't hear you. Hey, this is how you, bro. Samir is telling y'all the truth. He's giving y'all the real truth about what's going on with the team, man. And man, that is crazy. It just keeps going on. I don't know what's going on. So let's all right. So okay. So it's only happening on your end. So let's see if you could come back in. Leave and come back in. See if that works. All right, man. Salute to everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, I wanted to get into the offensive line, man, because there is a big storyline, and I wanted Severe to be a part of this too. Hopefully, his uh his audio issues is working. Test. Yeah, I can hear you fine. It's for a second I didn't hear you earlier, but now you're good now. But what's happening is the live feed, for whatever reason, man, we were so good, bro. We were doing so good. What? Uh, uh, what's going on? Still muted. Okay, so let me try something. Let me try something. How about now? Say something.
Check. Sound coming through. Should have also picked them off. So
What? Oh damn, it's not working. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you fine. That's the weird part. Say something.
check. Something. Sound coming through.
It's not working. Yeah, I can hear you fine. That's the weird part. Oh, it was working. Okay. Okay. Wow, what is going on? Okay. Okay, now I'm muted. No, they messing with me now. Test. No, mine's still working. It's still yours. We gonna figure this out. We gonna figure this out. Hold on, bear with us, man. Hey, man, we was on a winning streak. We was on that. We was on that De La Salle winning streak, man. Y'all know. We haven't had, man. We did DJ Williams Day. You know what I mean? My mic is fine. I don't think the issue. I think it's still yours, but I don't know if it's like anything you're doing on your end because everything is good on your end, right? As far as like the yeah, I can hear you fine. It's just I think the live feed can't hear you. Oh man. Nah, that was completely separate. Completely separate. That's the weird part. Man, that is crazy. All right, whatever you did, go. The music came on. We could hear Severe again. Right now, we hear you, but no music. Yeah. Let me. All right. We figured out, man. We appreciate the night crew and helping us out here, man, and bearing with it. Hey, we gonna get. Uh, if only they can hear you over here, man. If only they can hear you. Oh man. Chat, chat. Basically, to sum up what Severe is saying, bro, for the Raiders season, this is what he's looking forward to. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Oh man, with the number one pick. Raider. Okay, is rather hear double Severe than no Severe voice? Not. Oh, it worked fine until you fixed it. Thank. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna change something real quick here then. Okay.
Oh, watch. Just for that, Money Chuck. Just for that, Money Chuck. Just so y'all can read my lips, Money Chuck. I will talk about Ashton Genty being a bust.
Oh man, hey man. So you can tell Severe is the biggest Ashton Genty fan. All right.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Is it back now? Because what I'm doing is maybe it's.
Sit there. We good? We Gucci? Ah, see? There you go, Money Chuck. Now you get to hear me talk about Ashton Genty struggling mightily in his joint practice. Against the team he supposedly cooked last year. The team that just overlooked us as a bad team and didn't give a damn about us. And now that they got our focus, shit look a little bit different out there, didn't it? Look a little bit different. Ashton Genty was locked up like Akon.
Oh, we good. We back. We back better than ever. We back.
We Gucci now.
The IT
like I was saying
came through. Yes. Thank you, God. Appreciate you.
Cool.
Gucci.
But that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Yes. Appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate everybody bearing with us, man. Sometimes this happens. Like I said, we were on a winning streak. Usually we had everything under control, but today, man, y'all don't even know. Before the show, it was some crazy stuff happening, but we made it work. We're making it happen. Yeah. So we appreciate everybody patience. So
they said don't touch nothing.
No, I'm not touching nothing. I'm not touching nothing at all. Look, all right. But yeah. So basically, you're talking about like Mendoza not having a good not having a good joint practice. But I'm not really mad.
I wouldn't say not having a good joint practice. It was up and down.
Yeah,
up and down, and that's to be expected. He's a rookie quarterback going against a formidable defense with one of the best defensive coordinators or best defensive minds in the NFL. I expect him to struggle. Almost turned the ball over twice. Turned the ball and does something he traditionally doesn't do, which was turn the ball over in the red zone. And I think after practice, he kind of said himself that salute to my guy 805, man. We we
just got 805 on here on Round the Shield, man. We got to get you on for sure. Make that happen.
Man, I don't think you can deal with me at 805. Because at least with Rundown there was some balance, right? But even 805, bro, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be.
But yeah, man, Mendoza had up and down practice. Kirk Cousins, we didn't hear too much about it, but I don't think he's not the story, so I don't think there's going to be as much attention. So. You don't know honestly what kind of day he truly had. I think he did have one turnover, one interception. Yeah. But outside of that, people didn't talk a lot about him because he's not the focal point. Right? Everybody wants to talk about Mendoza. Everybody wants to talk about Browers, who he had the one big catch. And then he also had unconventional drop. And then Ashton Genty was locked up. Mike Washington had some success. It was basically against the tools though, so. To kind of take that with a grain of salt. Aiden O'Connell had a real nice completion. I saw it to Malik Benson, but the biggest story was we were dominated in the trenches, both offensively and defensively. So that's going to be an issue.
Can we trade Mendoza for Ty Simpson? Damn.
Hey man, Kurt Warner had a breakdown. I want to see it because I think Chris sent it to me in 805. Mm-hmm. He broke down both of their preseason performances. So I'm interested to see it. Just looking at the banter back and forth between 805 and Chris, it looks like he had more nice things to say about Ty Simpson than he did about Fernando Mendoza.
So it's DJ BNAM, Texan reporter for ESPN. He was asked. So his original is okay. Mendoza has made multiple tight window throws today where defender just missed the pass. And then someone asked him, from a Raider fan, what have you saw today? Which today should Fernando start over Kirk, or do you think they should stick to the plan and let him sit? And he said Fernando all day.
So who was that?
I believe he's the ESPN beat reporter for the Texans.
Okay, so I'm looking at the.
I'll send you the original thing right now.
Yeah, send me the original. So I looked at several Texans people that have talked about it, and they all essentially said the same thing, where Fernando had an up and down day.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think it's just. I don't think. I think they're just looking at the bigger. I think he probably said it as a bigger picture move.
Yeah, as a bigger picture move, I can see that.
Because I don't think Cousins had a good day either.
Nobody, like I said, nobody had a good day. Nobody out there had a good day for the Raiders for the most part. Brock, and even he had a drop out there. So it was like, yeah.
Ty Simpson is more pro ready right now, but I think Mendoza will be a better player if you keep him. Yeah, didn't Ty Simpson play in a more pro style offense in Alabama? So I think
but that was part of the reason.
A lot smoother, but if you're looking from a trait standpoint, and it's crazy. It's crazy that for Mendoza, we're talking about his ceiling, even though he does have traits to him. When you're comparing him to number one picks, and if you want to look at all the big trait guys, is he on the higher end? Maybe not, but he's still very good, or good to very good in certain areas, especially when you look at his size, 6'5", 230, 225, however way you want to list them. And then you got a good to very good arm, depending on who you talk to. But when you look at Ty Simpson, I don't know. I think when you say Mendoza probably has a higher ceiling than a Ty Simpson?
You would say yes, he has a higher ceiling, but that's kind of where talking about ceilings is where the Raiders have gotten themselves in trouble. Like pre-draft, you would have said Tyree Wilson had a higher ceiling than Will Anderson, and you see how that worked out. And
we're not talking about that type of extreme though.
But there were several people who said that Ty Simpson, or who said that Tyree Wilson was better prospect than Will Anderson. There were lots of people out there that had that opinion, and part of the opinion was because he had a higher quote unquote a higher ceiling.
And where are they working at now? Can we get a live look where they're working?
They're still working for ESPN, making bad predictions. Or working for other networks, making bad predictions. And that's how it goes.
That's terrible.
These people don't get penalized for making bad predictions.
Yeah. But the other aspect too, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but more so talking about how the defensive line kind of dominated. Offensive line for the Raiders, specifically JPJ. JPJ got hurt the other day, left practice, wasn't there today practicing, and they're saying that he most likely will miss this Texans game, this preseason game. I'm starting to think that JPJ's days are numbered now. And not because from a talent, it just seems like, I don't know what that was, but it just seems like, he's been hurt almost every year of his career so far. And I think if you look at Spytek and when he does to players, or he tries to get away from those players as soon as possible and try to get as much value as he can. I mean, perfect example, a lot of Raider fans love Jacorian Bennett. He ended up getting traded. And guess what? He ended up getting hurt with the Eagles. So, he when he sees that some players are damaged goods, he tries to get rid of them as soon as possible to salvage some type of value. If they figure out like, you know what, we can't trust JPJ to be out there. The competition is pretty much, it's right there. You know what I mean? Then they can easily go with Caleb Rogers, who they drafted last year, who is technically a Spytek guy. And you got two different coaching staffs that, if you think about it, have all kind of played these games, or if you want to call it games, with JPJ, just kind of like, and I don't even want to call it games. It's like they don't trust him. There's something about JPJ and what he's doing out there. You could, talk to some people. They're like, hey man, he has trouble handling stunts. He's not as consistent. He's not out there. He's not. So it's like, all right, now this is a big off season. He's obviously rotating with Caleb Rogers. Is this like, is his days numbered with the Raiders? Do you think that like they move on and like kind of salvage the situation by getting some value? Because there's probably some team that's probably desperate for offensive linemen. Even though it's crazy that the Raiders are doing that because they need to fortify their offensive line, but for them, it's kind of like, all right, they just need to move on.
No, I doubt it. I mean, he was still a high draft pick. He's still very talented. I don't see them doing it. I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if they did it. Because as you said, if you're injured, like Spytek is not gonna suffer through that for too long. We traded Jacorian Bennett, which we should. The most injured player on the Raiders roster technically is Max Crosby, and we traded him already. So like if Spytek feels he can get good value back, then he's gonna attempt to get good value back. But I don't know if they do, because they kind of waited to the last minute to get rid of Tyree. They should have. That's a move that should have been made prior to last year, and to even salvage any maybe they wouldn't have. I think they would have been able to get more out of him if they would have traded him prior to last year than watching him go through all of last year, be the bust that I was essentially saying he was since you drafted him, and then have to settle for was like a conditional sixth or something like that, or a seventh round or something like that, some nonsense like that. So. Now, if they feel that the value is in a trade to be had and they don't see them as part of their future plans, I can see them doing it. But right now, I just think the talent what he offers to the team as a player and a potential starting member of the offensive line is more valuable than what he would bring back in the pick right now. Now, if he continues to be hurt, maybe that calculation changes.
I mean, continues to be hurt. I mean, what more do you want to see? He's been hurt. That's why I'm bringing up the conversation, is because he's been hurt every year of his career, and now he's hurt again. And it's like kind of like, all right, and then if Caleb Rogers is in there and he's just hitting the ground running and he kind of takes the position, he earns the trust of the coaches, and he's like, man, the position was going back and forth. Like literally the other day, they asked Clint Kubiak, "Oh, is JPJ the starter at right guard?" And he says no.
Yeah, or has he solidified the job at right guard or something like that?
It's simple, just no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that should tell you where they're at. And this is how many. And I understand like JPJ's had this many coaching staffs, but at the end of the day, like people have come in. Offensive line has been a weak point on the team, and he's been the guy that they kind of like been up in the air with consistently. And then he's also on his end, he's also been getting hurt. He's not healthy.
Yeah.
He's not out there. So it's just like, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I just now, like before I was like, nah, I want to really see this through. I want to see him kind of overcome, just go out there and stay healthy, and then like kind of be part of that offensive line, that resurgence, because this year is a big year. I know they're going to want to run the football, and they're going to want to play a physical brand of football, and like yada-da-da. And then, just you got Rick Dennison out there, you got some good coaching, and but now I'm kind of like, man, like, we'll see how long this injury, holds him out. But I'm just saying, I think now to me, it's a real possibility that they can move on from him. For sure.
Yeah, the best ability is availability, right? You can't help the club from the tub. So if you're not on the field, bro, like, well, what are we keeping you here for? So yeah, if this keeps up, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Or if Caleb Rogers makes it close enough to where, they can feel that the drop off isn't too much, then they'll take whatever compensation they can get for JPJ, even if it's below market value, just because he's not part of the plan.
Yeah, for sure. They asked Clint Kubiak if Fernando is going to be playing this preseason game. He's going to play a lot of reps on. I kind of like the approach they're going with Mendoza. Give him as much reps as possible. Don't let him hey, this is a guy that gets better with more experience. Because if they're going to roll with Kirk Cousins as a starting quarterback, once the season rolls around, there's not really going to be that many reps to go around during practice and, preparing for a game. You know what I mean? He might run scout team or something like that, but like
he'll run scout team, but
it's not going to be the same as training camp and OTAs and preseason. Like he's not going to get snaps consistently with the ones and like guys like that. So I just feel like, and to me, that's why it makes sense to just almost, I want to say throw them out there, but once you've kind of understood that, or not even understood, once you kind of have a comfortability with the offensive line, like average to good, and that run game, I'm kind of like, hey, get them out there, give them the reps. You know what I mean? Because you now have it. You now have created an environment where you can protect them. Because that was like the main argument with putting Mendoza out there. And I know we've had this conversation, we talked about it before, but I just think that like I said, this is a developmental year. It makes sense. Get him out there. If the question is protecting him, and that if Rick Dennison comes to the coaching staff or Clint Kubiak and confidently says, yeah, we'll be able to protect him and this and a third, and he feels confident with running the football with Mike Washington and Ashton Genty back there, and Brock Bowers Brock Bowers looks like he's gonna have a big year, and it seems like we finally have like a really good offensive system. I mean, you could probably say this is probably the best since Gruden. Gruden was pretty good in terms of offensive football, but as a play caller, I think he was a little rusty in certain situations.
The year we had with Josh McDaniels, I mean, we put up our offense. I want to say our offense was top 10 that year. Just that we just didn't win games. We didn't put away games. Well, our offense was rolling. Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing. You know what I mean? So,
Nah, it was inconsistencies. There were some inconsistencies.
You don't remember, brother. Our offense was rolling. Our offense wasn't the issue.
There were some inconsistencies because there was games where we were up and then we just lose.
Yeah.
What happened to the offense then when the team comes back? We couldn't continue the momentum that they had.
A lot of that was turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, we did run the football with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had his best year as a Raider. And a lot of that had to do with him being like, combination contract year, him putting to work to have the best year of his career and him staying healthy. And I get it. And then you factor in Devontae Adams, the prime of his career. And then his chemistry with like Derek Carr, because ever since then, like we didn't see the same Devontae Adams. So that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I wasn't really tripping off like the Raiders getting dominated from Texans. This is kind of like, hey, look, if you're being honest, like the Raiders, this is a developmental year. I'm not my expectations aren't too high as far as what they're going to do this year. I just want to see young players get better. I want to see second-year players get better. I want to see this draft class show some promise. I want to see Fernando Mendoza be developed, and when I say be developed, have him out there. You know what I mean? Like
that's where you lose me. That's where you lose me.
I disagree, bro. I want
when he's ready. When he's ready. If he shows he's ready in practice, but he hasn't shown he's ready.
If the coaching staff feels like, hey, you know what, he's ready to go out there, then okay. But what does ready mean though? I want to understand like what does
ready means you're capable of being an NFL starter. You're capable of going to the line, making necessary checks, not simple checks, not emotion, not sending a running back out on emotion, not like I heard Ryan Holmes talk about, he sent somebody emotion. Bro, that's fucking pre-snap. Like that's already built into the offense. That's not something Fernando recognizes, like, let me motion this guy to the left, to the right. That's something that's already built into the offense. So it's not like he recognized something and sent the guy in motion. Like maybe the running back out, maybe moving the running back out was, maybe, potentially, but the sending a wide receiver across from one side of the formation to the other, that's like basic stuff that's already built into the offense. Like that's stuff they do all the time to basically recognize coverage and let you know, okay, this is what the coverage is in. So like you get, like when they give credit for basic stuff like that, like you don't get credit for stuff like that. That's stuff they do in college. Like that don't impress me. Like go out there and actually take command of the huddle. Like show me that you know what you're doing. But when the game is on you.
He's going to make mistakes though.
Exactly. He's going to make mistakes. But you want to limit those mistakes. Like every player is going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is going to make mistakes.
But the thing is, he's a rookie quarterback coming into the NFL.
Exactly.
Being ready. It doesn't even make any. He's the number one pick in the NFL draft.
And I don't mean you're ready.
Him being ready.
That doesn't mean you're ready.
But him being ready, it doesn't even make sense for you to say, oh, he needs to be ready. He's not going to be ready. To the standard,
but he's going to be. He needs to be ready as possible. There's a difference between being a guy that's in the NFL and a guy that's able to be an NFL starter. He's not ready to be an NFL starter.
I don't know.
Every player is going to make mistakes. So if you're trying to get to a place where he's going to be play mistake-free football, nobody's going to play mistake-free football. People are going to have inaccurate passes. They're going to make bad reads. They're going to make bad decisions. That's going to happen. Every player. Tom Brady did it until the end of his effing career. Everybody's going to do that.
Right.
But there's a difference between somebody that's going to consistently make mistakes. Like Fernando in his first game consistently missed reads. Like you can't consistently miss reads. You can't consistently bail from clean pockets. Like he did all this stuff in preseason. Now people don't pay attention to that stuff because their knee-jerk reaction is, oh, Fernando, he played good. He went 10 for 16 for something like 62% passing for 96 or 97 yards, something like that. Like, okay, that's a solid debut. That's good. That's baby steps. But in the grand scheme of things, you did that against the simplest defenses you're going to play all year. Like he didn't recognize the cover 6 and got his running back killed. Like all this stuff and that's stuff that's going to happen to every quarterback. But the difference is, how often does it happen? If you're doing it all the time, and I see all this stuff in the most pared down defense you're going to play against one of the other worst teams in the NFL, that lets me know, bro, you ain't ready.
Yeah, but the thing is that he's a young QB, and I'm not saying it off the strength of the last game. I'm not saying, oh, that performance alone should mean that he should. I'm saying he's a guy that's getting better and better and better and better.
Exactly. And let him continue to do that.
Exactly. Okay, but the main reason why people don't want Mendoza out there is because they don't want to get him killed. But if you have, for me,
that's them. That's those people. That's people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's not me. The main reason I don't want him out there is I don't want him to build bad habits, trying to do things in the NFL that he's not ready to do. If you try to, like, you heard the term, trying to like drink from a fire or a water hose or something like that. Like you're trying to drink to take on too much at one time. And what that does is that creates a situation where you start to build bad habits instead of positive and good things being reinforced. You start to do things outside of what you want your quarterback to be doing, and that's how you build these bad habits. And once those habits are built, they're very hard to break. That's why you bring him along as slowly as possible. If it gets to a point where if it's week 1 and Clint says, okay, I think he's ready, he's shown me and demonstrated he's ready to take it, I'm fine with that. But based on what I've seen from Cal to Indiana to the first preseason game to training camp, he ain't ready. So don't try to force him to be ready when he's not.
I'm not saying force him to be ready, but just because he's making mistakes now doesn't mean that he's going to make mistakes later. When you have his quarterback coach say that he doesn't make the same mistake twice, when you have Clint
in controlled environments,
when you have Clint in these pressures, he just seems like look. There's a reason why there's probably a reason why they had Mendoza out there against the ones, obviously for developmental purposes, but they wanted to see like, hey, look, this is good experience. This is some quality reps. You get to play with the ones. There's a reason why he was out there, and I think that they're considering. I think they're considering to start Mendoza early. Obviously, saw Mendoza to do that. You know what I mean? But a big part of that to me, you're discounting it. But a big part of that is for them to see if that offensive line is ready to go day one. If that run game is ready to go day one. If that offense could be cohesive day one, which we've been talking all offseason, we weren't sure about that first preseason game. We was like, okay, it is one preseason game, but it just seems like there's better execution, better product out there. Because
think of it like this, Pharaoh. How were you when you learned how to drive?
Man, high school.
Okay. Did you learn how to drive on the freeway, or did you learn how to drive on streets?
Yeah.
No, answer the question. Did you learn how to drive on the freeway? Or did you learn how to drive on the streets?
On the streets.
And you got very comfortable driving on the streets before you went on the freeway, correct?
I get what you're saying.
No, so if somebody would have put you on the freeway from jump and said, "Oh, you gonna drive on the freeway? We're just gonna throw you on the freeway, Pharaoh," what do you think would have happened? Now, you could have just been like, "Oh, I learned how to drive on the freeway first. Now I'm the best driver there ever was." Or, Pharaoh, I'm sorry to report your son has passed away in a tragic car accident, right?
Man.
So either thing can happen. But the point is that you let somebody learn and grow in a controlled environment at their own pace before you throw them on the most dangerous area of all time.
Let's talk about most success quarterbacks usually sit there for a half season or more. No, that's not true. What are we talking about? Why are we acting like the last 20, 30 years of the NFL hasn't shown us that quarterbacks have not come in and have success? We understand that, like the Tom Brady's of the world, they came in a different era. They came in where quarterbacks like were, sitting behind a veteran quarterback, which there is some truth to that. There is some logic behind that. There is some, okay, you don't have to throw a quarterback into the fire, but stop acting like quarterbacks can't come in and develop and by playing and having that experience, especially if they're in the right environment. But what you're saying is, okay, let me ask you this. What's your barometer for Mendoza to start? Because you have this standard for a quarterback to start. But you also understand that he's a rookie quarterback, right? Yes. There's an understanding to that, so you know that he's gonna. So what is the standard, the barometer that you're setting, starting a quarterback for the Raiders right now, for at least for Mendoza to start?
For Mendoza to start, I want him to have clear command of the offense, clear command of the huddle, an understanding of where he's supposed to go with the ball, understanding of when to get rid of the ball, understanding of when not to run and put himself in harm's way on a consistent basis. Now, he's not going to be perfect in any of these things. That's the thing. I understand he's still going to be a young player. He's going to make young player mistakes. But the key is, how consistently does he make the right decisions? Does he do the right things? And I think, perfect example, him playing scout team, that's a perfect area where he can learn how to play the position, even though it won't be with the guys he's going to be playing on the field with, but he'll still be able to play the position, make the passes. Like, he's going to be, when he's the scout team, he's going to play Justin Herbert, right? That's what he's going to do. What do you say? But driving, no, that's like saying playing NFL football or being a backup quarterback, that's driving on the streets, right? Like, right now, playing college football is like going to go-kart world. Like, he was going to go-kart world. He was a great driver and go-kart world. Or anybody that's from LA, I don't know if they do in other places. You had one of those little small four-wheelers. Like, oh, you were in one of those, you driving on the street. Like, that's not the same as driving a 2-ton car. Like, everybody used to whip those little things up, these little go-karts up and down the street. But that's different than driving a big vehicle. And driving a big vehicle on the street is different than driving a big vehicle on the freeway. So there's levels to this. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't force something that's not ready to happen yet. It's going to happen. It's going to come a point in time, and it may be this season. It might, like I said, there's not out of the realm of the possibility that it's week 1. That Fernando Mendoza has shown enough. He's demonstrated enough command, enough responsible decision making, and he's surpassed Kirk Cousins enough to say, you know what, there's really no sense in him sitting down anymore, because he's essentially learned everything he can learn through observation. Now it's time for demonstration. And when that point in time comes, cool, throw him out there. But until that time happens, then we can only do damage to a ball of clay. That's all we can do. It's like what you guys are trying to do is like, it's like if you're baking a cake and it says bake at 350 for 35 minutes, and you're like, well, shit, if I bake it at 450, I can cook it in 15. Like, no, that's not how it works. You're gonna burn that motherfucker, and then you don't waste the cake.
Look, I'm not saying just throw Mendoza out there. What I'm saying is the guy he's showing that he gets better over time. He gets better with reps. You got one of the best offensive minds in football. You got one of the best play callers in football. If you have an average to good offensive line, if you determine that after training camp that you feel good about your offensive line, you're able to run the football, then you're able to put an environment around him for him to be successful, for him to make mistakes. And because you talk about a young quarterback being in a controlled environment, but when you have those pieces around you, or at the very least have that around you, it's somewhat a controlled environment in that, like, okay, if you make a mistake, you're not going to go get killed out there. You could at least, follow a game plan, follow a play call. Because look, they're not telling him to go out there. I'm sure they're probably not telling him out there to I want to say like, because I know you said full command of the offense. I don't think I'm sure they're probably not going to tell him to go out there and make crazy audibles at the line of scrimmage. Knowing Mendoza, I'm sure that's what he wants to do. That's where he wants to go. But I'm sure, Kubiak, he's going to have a game plan. He's going to have a way that he's going to run the offense, especially early on, before he gives the quarterback like that much leeway. In my opinion, I just think that he's going to get better with time and more reps. If you take that away from him, especially this year, I'm not saying just throw him out there. I think that's what's being missing. That's missing in this conversation is that you think that I'm saying like just throw him out there and like just. That's what you're saying. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he's shown that he's gotten better from the time that he went from Cal to Indiana to up until this point. Because what people were saying is that from OTAs, he didn't look good. His footwork was sloppy. That's what they were saying in OTAs. And then you progress to right now, it seems like it's a night and day difference to what they were saying. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not. But like by the end of training camp, you get to that season, because especially when you look at Kirk Cousins too, that's something that we didn't factor in this conversation, is that Kirk Cousins doesn't have the strongest arm out there. Kirk Cousins this could be a 2014 situation all over again. If Fernando kind of makes it a tough decision, I think he has to play a part into it too. That's why I'm not saying just throw him out there. He has to show that, oh, okay, like there's something to him where you can actually put him out there. And I think he will show that. But I just think that this is such a developmental year. I think it's such an opportunity for him just to go out there, get some experience, get some reps. And you got things around him already that's going to protect him. I don't think it's going to be a situation where he's going to get killed, where he's going to lose confidence. I just think there's things around him that is going to keep him good. I think it's a little bit overreaction. I know someone in the chat was talking about giving examples of quarterbacks that sat. I understand there are stories. There's always going to be examples of guys getting developed different ways. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was the last guy, I think, prominent guy. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, maybe Jalen Hurts, or someone said Jalen Hurts.
Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, there's examples, but I think certain guys, there's examples, but I also there's examples for guys that can come into the game and they hit the ground running and be successful. And so
but if you ask Sam Darnold, what was the biggest difference in his career? It was when he sat down and observed.
Okay,
that's what made all the difference for him. You know, like, and he was a guy that was drafted high and thrown into the fire. Zach Wilson is a guy drafted high and thrown into the fire. Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people didn't think he lived up to what he was supposed to live up to because he was thrown into the fire. What did it take for Bryce Young to finally start to turn into the quarterback that he turned into? He got set down. So why are we skipping steps? Well, we can just do that step now where there's no expectations for us to do anything but lose and get better draft position next year. We're trying to skip steps to force a guy out there that's not even ready to begin with. So just why are we skipping steps now? Let this stuff progress and take this natural order. And when he's ready, he's going to assert himself as the guy. But he has not done that yet. And I don't see it happening, in the near future. Now, maybe, after a quarter of the season, midway through the season, okay, maybe we're having a different discussion. But right now, I don't think it's that.
Yeah, man, we'll see, man. I'm leaning towards, having Mendoza out there. I think the coaching staff at the end of the day is going to be the final determining factor that, or honestly, it might come above the coaching staff. I mean, Tom Brady has been quoted. He's had so many interviews. He's kind of on your side as far as in terms of like having a quarterback sit no matter what. Like he wants a quarterback to sit no matter what. So, and I'm sure Clint Kubiak, when interviewing for the job, the conversation of quarterback came up. The plan for the quarterback for sure came up. You've heard the coaching staff under Clint Kubiak, from the quarterback coaches, from offensive coaches, talk about how there's a plan for Mendoza. So I was kind of falling in line with like, oh, okay, the Cousins might start, but I don't know. There is a possibility where, I think Mendoza has a chance. And if he does have a chance, I think that's a great opportunity it's a great situation for the Raiders, because now you can put him out there. Now you can have him gain valuable experience and then have him come back year 2 with an even better Raider team with even valuable experience that he had. Now, if it's a situation where, he's not ready, on top of, the pieces around him not being all the way there, which is not, obviously we talk about the receiver core not being all the way there, but you got Brock Bowers, you got Ashton Genty, Mike Washington, offensive line, look like they're going to be running the ball. But I think the big thing, though, that you didn't bring up that might stop Mendoza from starting early on is the defense. Because if the defense is terrible, then you automatically take away the run game. And then now you put them in like really tough situations early on. And then you also have to factor in the scheduling. So, I'm kind of that too. So that's you didn't bring that up, but I was like, that's the tough situation that I'm like, I don't know. But But yeah, man,
I just don't even trust the supporting cast though. That's the thing. I don't trust. We're already saying we might trade JPJ and start a second-year player. There are question marks about Glaze. Tyler Linderbaum, he's solid as a rock, but Burford, he was mid as hell in the first preseason game. You can even lean towards saying he didn't have a good preseason game at all. And Colton Miller, he's been oft injured himself. So now you got question marks all across the offensive line. You're potentially trading your second round pick from 2 years ago. You got a guy who was your third round pick 2 years ago that you're thinking about, or fans are really wanting to move on from, who's getting killed in practice. Like the only rock you really have is Tyler Linderbaum. So like that's what I'm saying. It's like I just think there's a natural, like if Fernando Mendoza wasn't a guy that, first of all, the fact that he's shown this much progress in mini camps and OTAs, that that he's going to be a guy that does the work. He's going to do the work. So he's going to continue to progress and get better naturally. So let that just happen instead of trying to like throw him out there. And I think that if it's a situation where it gets to week 1 and Clint looks at both quarterbacks and says, you know what, I feel completely comfortable throwing Mendoza out there or having Mendoza as a starter. It is not a situation where he just feels like, because that's what I mean. These are vastly different quarterbacks, right? These are vastly different quarterbacks. I don't even want to I don't even want to compare these guys because they're so different where they were in terms of their development. But Shane Steichen had that attitude with Anthony Richardson, where it's like, he's got to play, so I'm just gonna throw him out there. Where I think that if Anthony Richardson, if they would have just let it slowly progress, would he ever be a top NFL quarterback? Probably not, but I don't think it would have been as bad as it looks now, right? So I just think it just, Fernando Mendoza just needs time. He needs time.
Yeah, but there's a lot going on with that whole Anthony Richardson situation. You know what I mean? People are going to talk about the football side of things, his experience, and this is why you don't take grabs for quarterback. That, but like, I think there is also like a trust, confidence issue going there. Like, they should just, man, I don't know why they haven't traded him yet. I heard Ed Dodds come out the other day say like, Anthony Richardson should, they want to keep him for depth purposes. That could be just like,
trying to increase his trade value. That's what
increase his trade value, but they're saying it because they did deal with injuries last year at quarterback with Daniel Jones, but still.
Oh damn! We got a super chat up here. My bad. Space Beast. I missed. I've been talking so much, man. Where's my dog?
My guy, Space Beast with the super chat, man. Appreciate you. Left tackle Grant, left guard Zune, Linderbaum at center, Rodgers at right guard, right tackle, Glaze.
See, but I don't even think that's my issue with, I don't even think they're having anybody compete with Burford. That's the issue I'm having. Nobody's even compete. Burford just over there being ass and just living carefree, like not a care in the world, because nobody's really challenging him. And that's my issue with it, where like you just basically, grandfathered his position in because of he came from the system, I guess, with the 49ers or a similar system. Like, bro, make this dude compete. You making JPJ compete for whatever reason they may have. We'll make Burford compete for his spot as well. It doesn't seem like that's the case.
Yeah. Zune right now, he's the backup right tackle. That's where they had him. I think they moved him around a little bit. They even had him at right guard at some point. They had him at center, right tackle. I don't think they ever put him at left guard at any point during the offseason. Maybe during the OTAs, possibly. I don't know. But they're looking at him exclusively for right now. Like, it seems like his best way to get on the field is at right tackle because he's backing up Glaze. Rodgers. See, I know you mentioned that, JPJ, I don't know about. Well, Rodgers and him are going back and forth. So they're competing, and they feel good enough with Rodgers where they're like, we want to see first team reps with Rodgers. We want to see him out there as well. But Rodgers is the guy that's like, they're having him claw and compete from where he's at, coming, third round pick, new coaching staff. Like, JPJ is kind of the guy that, was drafted. I think he was drafted in the second round with when the Telesco era, that 1 year that he was with the Raiders, drafted in the second round. So he's not a spy tech guy. So that could be possibly motivating a lot of the talk of JPJ probably not being here, is because spy tech probably is like, you know what? hey, he's not out there. You know what I mean? He's hurt, so we might as well try to get as much value as possible. But we appreciate when it comes to
he might go to a team where he can play center and then show why he should have been playing center.
Maybe, but some people question if he has the mental capacity to play center. You know what I mean?
But know what the reason for that is because in this system, it depends on what system you're in. Because in this system, the center makes a lot of protection calls. Like in the Josh McDaniels system, it was the quarterback that did everything. So if you're in a system where the center has to do all of that, then you need a guy that's highly intelligent to be able to do that. But if you're not, if you go to a system where, like, hey, I don't know what the center looks like in New England, but you mess around, let him go to New England where he can, and I think he can function in that system because he has a guy in Drake May who's going to be making all those calls, and it's not going to be on the center's plate.
So the good centers can take on that responsibility.
I'm not saying the good centers because there are good centers that didn't have to do that.
I'm thinking Rodney Hudson. Now we got Linderbaum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In years past, like I'm thinking of guys that took on that responsibility. I think Derek Carr, I think he eventually took on that responsibility a little bit, but Rodney Hudson early on, I think his career was doing a lot of those calls, which made it easier for Derek Carr to just kind of like stand back there and make passes instead of like, getting to a line and trying to make protection calls. So it
depends on what the offensive coordinator / head coach likes.
But we'll see, man. We'll see. So, hey, man, I think we didn't get a chance to talk about the defense. Defense struggled.
Terrible.
They struggled once again. And I keep bringing it up. I remember I told you last show, and I think it was with Rundown. I'm like, and I know it's an early conversation. I'm like, I know it's early, but Leonard, is he in over his head a little bit? He's the question mark. That is still going to give him time. It's super early, but he's a big question mark in that he was a first time DC, and this could be a situation where Kubiak, he was hired after the Super Bowl. A lot of coaches and their coaching staffs already been put together, so he's trying to contact as much guys around the league, trying to put together his staff, but it's late in the process. You got a guy in-house in Rob Leonard. He interviewed him, kind of liked him, understood like his options were limited because who are the other options? I know everybody was like, oh, Jim Shorts, but Jim Shorts couldn't get out of that contract with the Browns. He essentially basically is taking a year off. I'm not sure how long he's under contract with the Browns, but they said he's going to reevaluate his options the next coaching cycle. So I don't know how that works out for him, but I think it could be a situation where the Raiders are like, you know what? Let's give this guy opportunity. If it doesn't work out, we can take the next best available defensive mind from whatever coaching staff that's available. A defensive guy that is that's talented as a defensive-minded coach, a defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, and try to get him on board with the Raiders. That's a possibility. I can kind of see it happening already because it's not like they had a lot of options. Who were they choosing from? Who was the options? I don't know if you remember any of the options. I know they try to connect them with some guys, maybe from McDonald's coaching staff, possibly. Yeah. Jim Shorts was the Hail Mary. Like people were praying for that, but it was never going to happen. But Leonard was the guy that, ended up getting the job, but it almost seems like he would be the obvious scapegoat, especially the defense struggles. And he would be an obvious scapegoat because I think people are going to feel like there's enough talent where it should be better. Yeah. It's not perfect because obviously that defensive tackle, they didn't address it. But I'm sure if it's really bad, they're going to use him as a scapegoat. And I think they're going to probably get the next best guy next offseason. And I know some people kind of like, oh, well, there's somebody on the... Nah, I think they're going to have an opportunity to get like a really good defensive-minded coach because they're going to have more options to choose from.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have opportunity to get a good guy. I mean, Rob Leonard is definitely the scapegoat. I said at the time, where it's like the fact that when Rob Leonard was first hired, they asked Spytek about it, and like he tried to act like he was super hands off, like, oh, well, it's like but he's the one that said, oh, have you talked to Rob Leonard? Have you interviewed him? And he's the one that encouraged Clint Kubiak to interview him for the job. Obviously your GM, the guy that hired you, encouraging you to interview somebody else for another position, that's going to hold some sway over you, right? In my opinion, it would. But then, like Spytek was trying to act so hands off, like he had nothing to do with it. It just looks suspicious. Like if somebody accuses you of something and you just like go overboard, like, oh, it wasn't me. Why you just talk? Like that's like, dog, like, okay, like, well, now I'm starting to think it was you, because what they say, doth do protest too much. Like the fact that you had to window, like I didn't even have nothing to do with it. It wasn't me. It was his decision. And all right, well, bro, like we need to say all that. Like nobody like really openly said you did it, but now I'm starting to think you was the person that made this happen. So, and the fact that he was the last coach hired, I just think I don't want to say mismanaged it, because they didn't anticipate him going to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, if you're a guy that's been coaching in the league for as long as you've been coaching, your family has been coaching in the league for as long as they've been coaching, you would think that he would have cultivated some kind of relationships around the league with other position coaches and other defensive minds, where he could say, you know what, hey, if I ever get a head coaching job, this is the person I want as my defense coordinator. He's a DB coach here. He's a linebackers coach here. He's a, defensive line coach here, right? And maybe Rob Leonard was one of those people. Like, I don't think they ever crossed paths, but maybe he saw what Rob Leonard was doing in Baltimore when he was there for a year, or in Miami, or with the Raiders. He's like, you know what? If I ever get a job, he's going to be the guy I want. But the fact that Spytek had to encourage him to interview him lets me know that that probably wasn't the case. So the fact that, like, I just don't think the situation was managed really well by anybody. And so we were like the lights came on at the club, and we got left with the ugly broad. So we took her home.
No, but it's true though, because the reason why I'm pointing this out is because that happened the year prior. The first option for the Raiders at head coach was Ben Johnson. And then they pivoted to a veteran coach, an older coach, and Pete Carroll. Clearly not their number one option. And they easily got rid of him after 1 year. And this is after Tom Brady on board, and Tom Brady that believes in, stability and consistency, because he was a part of that environment in New England. But he had no problem being a part of the decision to let Pete Carroll go, because I'm sure he was a part of that decision. It wasn't just like the old school way of Mark Davis kind of getting in there and saying, oh, you need to go or whatever, to getting pressure from the fan base. And he was a big part of that decision making. And part of that too was, look, I just can see it. I could just see it. I can't. Now, is it possible that, Rob Leonard can go out there and show some he can develop this unit, and as the season goes on, it can get better for sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna just say that's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
I have to acknowledge that he's a big question mark. Huge question mark. Is like, damn, like what do we, because I don't even think that he was that great of a defensive line coach. You know what I mean? That might be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't like Max Crosby. You know what I mean? Max Crosby really kind of put him, gave him a little bit of like, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but I'm sure I think that he interviewed for the job. They felt good about him, so they feel good about him as a coach. But I just felt like, was he a great D-line coach? I'm like, man, I don't think so. You know what I mean? When were we like up there in top? Were we top 5 in sacks?
No, like what?
But you
can't blame him. You can't blame him for Tyree. The main guy he was tasked with developing was Tyree. You can't really blame him for Tyree.
Yeah, Tyree. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. That is tough.
You can't blame him for Tyree, but that is, hey. It's the one high pick you had at your disposal, and you kind of, didn't do nothing with them. And I think that more than anything, as you alluded to, Rob Leonard is a patsy. If stuff goes wrong, you think Kubiak's going to fire his boy that he's brought with him at every stop, and Andrew Janocko? And you think that's going to be the guy he fires?
No.
You feel me? Or is he going to fire this guy who he has no connection to at all? obviously Rob Leonard's gonna be the person they fire.
If the Raiders go 7-10, and the Raiders defense is like outside of the top 20, but they showed some strides, some guys are developing, they're gonna give Rob Leonard a chance. Like, it's not gonna be like, it's not a black and white like, oh, you know, the Raiders don't make the playoffs, someone's gonna get fired. It's not like one of them type of situation. But I bet you if it's like 4-13 or 5, you know, barely they improve by one game, but that defense is terrible. Like we can't get pressure, which is, it seeming like it might be an issue this year. The young players on defense ain't developing or not showing any. Then it's gonna be like, okay, we need to figure out how to salvage this, because they are rebuilding and they understand, like, look, offensive line was a problem 2 years in a row. Guess what happened? They get an offensive minded coach to bring an offensive line coach that's respected around the league, and everybody feels good about the offensive line. Now the talent, we feel like can get better, but I think we can all agree, like we feel a lot better about the offensive line than we did a year ago.
Yeah.
Now this defense, from a talent perspective, we feel good about it because there's some upside. They got to go out there and prove it, but like, is Rob Leonard the right guy to, you know, showcase this defense? And I don't know. But to be fair, there, you know, it's not like he has everything on his disposal, but he got more than Patrick Graham.
Oh, for sure.
He got more than Patrick Graham, I'll tell you that.
For sure. No, without a doubt. Yeah, you said this is the most talent we've had on defense for a while, and we have some actual like guys. We have actual guys that, like, in the past, has been Max was like the only like real dog. You know, Adam Butler was a dog in his own right, but he's not like a upper echelon NFL player. But now we got like Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. Those guys are upper echelon players at their respective positions. Eric Stokes, you know, he was a very high draft pick. He's a guy that was at one point thought to be a guy that can turn into one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Had a pretty solid season last year. Obviously, we have young guys all throughout the secondary. We have a backup linebacker in Cody Lindenberg who's out there making some plays. You know, we spent high picks on Kieran Crawford. We got Malcolm Kuntz a year removed from his ACL injury, so we're expecting him to kind of return to form. Kwity Paye is the guy we brought in via free agency. We just signed the defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi, who was ironically a guy that was on the Texans, who was released because he couldn't do the job, and then the Texans drafted Caden McDonald to replace him, and then we just signed the guy that the Texans drafted Caden McDonald to replace, instead of just drafting Caden McDonald. But you know, that's neither here nor there. That's a story for another episode of 50/50 Show.
Hey man, we kind of been I think the technical difficulties kind of push things out, but we're gonna get through our, you know, the usual stuff that we do on every 50/50 show, man. And it's none other than, you already know what time it is.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Flag on the play. Severe, what we got this week, man?
Flag on the play, man. The Bus family. It's drama with the Bus family. It was reported that the Lakers and the Bus family had sold their remaining shares. After selling the majority shares, last year, they sold the remaining. And then all of a sudden we got news that not so fast, that Jeannie Buss was challenging the sale of those remaining shares that the other siblings had agreed to. So essentially, you got 5 siblings versus Jeannie Buss and this tug of war over how the remaining shares of the Lakers are going to be handled and who's going to basically have ownership of them. So it's going to go to the courts. There was some legal language saying that though potentially this move could happen, that if they got the majority of the other members of the trust, which all 6 of the siblings or all 6 of Jerry Buss's kids they're in the Buss family trust. So if they were all agreed, or if they got the majority to agree, then you can execute the sale. But there was a previous ruling back from when Jim was still running the Lakers, and when he tried to force Jeannie out, saying that for any move like that to be made, that the trustees of the trust all had to agree. And the trustees are Jeannie, Janie, and Jim, who I believe are the 3 oldest kids. And obviously, Jeannie doesn't agree with the sale. So she's attempting to use that language from a previous court ruling to stop the sale of the team now. So it's all going to depend on, does the language that was in the previous sale, where there was like a tag-along provision saying that if the majority agrees that the sale can be executed, does that take precedent? Or does the previous ruling saying that all 3 of the trustee members had to agree, does that take precedent? And it could be a situation where, depending on what judge they go to, depending on what locale they're in, that could affect the decision, right? Like, this is all politics, depending on who appointed that judge, right? Obviously the sale of the team is being purchased by the brother of Trump's son-in-law. If you go get the case in front of a Trump-friendly judge, it could be a situation where they say, yeah, we think that the sale can be executed. Now, if you go to a judge that maybe not be so friendly to the current administration, maybe they say no for political reasons. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. It's a lot of drama happening, and it's just a shame, because this is not what Jerry Buss. When Jerry Buss died, he had one thing he wanted to happen, and was that for the team to stay with the Buss family, and obviously it's already been sold previously, and now it can be sold completely. So it's just a sad situation.
Yeah, man. I think it's crazy to think that the Buss family, there's always, not everything is gonna last forever, but it's crazy how like a story franchise like the Lakers is kind of going through this, because when you think about like a lot of the big name franchises, you don't really hear stuff like this. You just hear this about like some other teams, like the little teams that no one really, they're not as big as the Lakers. The Lakers, they clearly got some issues behind the scenes, especially the Buss family. Like, they are fighting. They've been fighting ever since Jerry Buss died. You know what I mean? And I think Jerry Buss, the way he kind of set it up, he thought he was doing the right thing by kind of doing that. But like, what he didn't understand is like, hey, some of these people, hey, he needed to decide who was going to be the person running the franchise, because they obviously do not agree with each other. And it's crazy because they've been going back and forth. They've been playing these types of games. I think the year prior, when there was a sale of the team, that was orchestrated by Jeannie, I believe. And I'm not sure if they were happy about that sale. And now they're coming back and trying to sell the last remaining percentage. And to your point, like, it's just crazy how like they're going back and forth. And what's going to happen with the Lakers? Lakers are one of the story franchise. Now it's like up in the air, and now it's just more of a brand than it is like, are they going to be a team that, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people don't care, because, a lot of people hated the Lakers, but it could be a situation where, they might go through some dark times. If the new ownership doesn't care about
that part,
about the team, winning,
if they don't care about the team, they don't care about money. Then that part. I mean, that's why I trust Bob. I trust Bob Iger more than Kushner, because Bob Iger, he was head of Disney for a while. Like, he's big on like brand success and having that type of reputation out there. So I trust him to want to be able to like have the Lakers still be like one of the story franchises in NBA. Kushner, I don't know. Maybe he feels the same way, but I think it could go one of two ways, because when you have owners like the Lakers were essentially like a lot like the Raiders, where in the world where there is like so much money at the top of these organizations, right? The Lakers were like essentially a mom and pop shop in terms of ownership. They were technically a family-owned business, right? And like, it wasn't like a corporate interest where they had the same level. Now, obviously, if you're the Lakers, you're still low-key printing money, but all of the Buss's family money essentially comes from the Lakers. So like they make those financial decisions knowing that it greatly impacts their income. Now, when you got guys like Bob Iger and the Kushners who are already, rich from other endeavors, maybe they have a little less care about, how much money they're generating from Lakers. You're going to make money with the Lakers regardless.
Yeah.
So maybe they're able to, or maybe they're more willing to invest in certain areas where the Bus family was not willing to do.
This is why, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't want to go too deep, but this is why hierarchy matters, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you have too many cooks in the kitchen, when you have everybody, there has to be clear, like, all right, this is the person that is the leader. This is everybody else. Like, it's just, when there's everybody at the table, it's nothing ever gets done. And I think this is a situation where I think you got family members fighting over the team, and it's just, you know, Jeannie over here playing chess, apparently, you know what I mean? But they try to, you know, checkmate her by selling the team. It's just so many things going on with this team. It's kind of crazy to see, man. But flag on the play on this situation, just because, like, Lakers, it might be, it's kind of a mystery what's going to be, how the team is going to look like in the future. I really don't know. It's with new ownership, because the ownership deal it went through. It's just a matter of the last remaining.
Yeah, the last remaining. Yeah, it's like 17.6% or something like that.
Yeah, so the majority is with the new ownership.
New ownership.
Yeah. So
yeah, they own like 60-something% of it.
Which that whole situation is kind of crazy how that came about. So that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation, bro. Whole different conversation,
how did
bro.
Get sold twice in 1 year. One of the most storied franchise in sports.
Yeah, bro. Look, we know how it goes, man. It's
30 for 30, bro. 30 for 30.
Politics, corruption, blackmail, backroom deals. You know, billionaire boys club type situation, man. All that stuff is happening right now, man. We know how it goes, man. We know how it goes.
Yeah. But are we done? Do we have another flag on the play?
We do got one more flag. We have one more flag. We'll talk about it a little bit, man. Other flag on the play is obviously we know the Cowboys. They just signed Von Miller, you know, Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame pass rusher, one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, he's getting up there in age, but he still put up like 10 sacks last year, I want to say, for the Bills. So still being productive even in his advanced age. They just signed him to a contract. But recently, star wide receiver that a lot of Raider fans wanted us to draft, that draft, CeeDee Lamb, was seen out on a date holding hands and kissing the ex and the mother of his children for one Von Miller. So CeeDee Lamb has been seen out with Von Miller's ex and the mother of his children right around the time the Cowboys have just signed Von Miller.
Yeah,
that could be a nasty situation, man. I think back to was it Kaepernick and somebody that got into a fight because Kaepernick was like dating a girl, something like that. Like I think I remember this from the 49ers camp where like Kaepernick and somebody else had got into a squabble over that. I forgot who it was, but like it could get messy.
Yeah. And we'll say this. I'll say that for behind the scene. I was going to say another honorable mention because I just seen someone text me something. It's pretty disgusting. You probably heard about it. It's like a documentary about a content creator that was just on some crazy stuff.
Oh, did the Eagles one?
Yeah, the Eagles.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, that was.
I didn't even watch it, but it was just like clips going viral. It's just wow, disgusting. But we're not done yet, man. If you haven't already, make sure to click and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We appreciate it.
That's what it was, Chill Ray. It was out. Oh damn, was that the beginning of the end for Alden Smith? Damn.
Did he?
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I want to say there was like a squabble or something like that. Like they got into it.
Chill Ray, man. Hey, man, you sharp, brother. Yeah, man, that is. I don't even want to watch it. I just seen the clips.
Yeah, I heard about it a while ago. But even when I watched, like, cause
but there's a documentary where he's sitting and he's talking, and no shame at all.
But like cause I had seen his videos before. He's like early YouTube guy. He's like early YouTube, back in the day YouTube. I saw him. I thought like this, like even before I knew any of this, I was like something not right with this dude. Like he's not like he's a free fry short of Happy Meal, right? You feel me? Like he don't. Everything not functioning right. The hamster not on that wheel.
Yeah.
So so I was like, and so it don't surprise me. It don't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
it's disgusting still.
It is what it is. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're not done yet. We got notable quotables where we play a quote, we react to it, we have that conversation. And yeah, man, it was severe, man. What we got this week, man, on notable quotables. We got
this
some
week on notable quotables.
We got some good ones, right?
We got some good ones, man. We got some good ones. Our boy Steve Smith Sr., man. Steve Smith Sr., one of my favorite players ever. Just for he's one of my favorite players ever, man. Not only because he's from LA, he went to uni. He got it out the mud. He worked his way up the hard way. I want to say him and Chad Johnson were both played JUCO at Santa Monica College, in the LA area. Obviously, Steve Smith is from LA. Chad Johnson is not from LA. I think he's from Florida. But they both played JUCO football out here. So, and then Steve Smith went to Utah, and he was I forgot when he was drafted, but he was drafted fairly late. But he turned into one of the best players ever play the game. One of the best wide receivers ever. And when it comes to wide receiver evaluations, he's the guy that's the gold standard. He's the guy I trust more than any other person doing this wide receiver thing. He's had some misses, but he's been right a lot more than he's been wrong. And this week, he dropped the hammer on Raiders' former second-round pick Jack Bech. And you gotta hear it. You just gotta hear it.
Why? Here's the thing. I met Jack. I met him in California. We were at an event. I'm a pretty intense dude. Would you say?
We spent a lot of time together. Yes.
Yeah. Jack came in hot. I was like, he ain't got it. He was saying the way he was talking. He was talking how some fans think I am. They're like, oh, Steve thinks. Mm-hmm. Jack didn't invent football. I'll say, unfortunately, what the Raiders don't want to say last year who grabbed him. I think it was a miss. I don't
think early, but yeah.
I think it was too early. If he was a 5th or 6th round draft pick, I don't think it'd be a problem. But as a 2nd round draft pick, why
you don't got the visual, but when he says as a 2nd round draft pick, he vigorously shakes his head like, no. And this the look. I'm just imagining the look, because he's like, he came in hot. And the look he gave, like he was as if he looked at Jack Bech like, bruh, I will put hands and feet all over your face and cranium, bro. So he gave him that look like, bro, you coming in kind of spicy here, bro. You might want to tone that down, bro, Jack. I'm not the one. That's the look he gave.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm hoping that Jack Bech has a role in this offense this year, and that role could be another 3rd down option, a red zone option, a possession guy. We really don't have a possession receiver at receiver. I mean, if you think about it, like we have Naylor. Naylor, you probably could say maybe Naylor, but Naylor he's more of a Swiss Army knife. Like he could do a lot. He's versatile. He's a faster player. Trey Tucker is more of a Rashid Shaheed, kind of a deep threat. Malik Benson, kind of in that same mold. You could say like Bech is like the only time. So if he could fill that role, hey. Yeah. But to your point, do you draft a guy like that in the 2nd round? Could you got that value? Could you took advantage of value there in the 2nd round? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's an argument to be had, man. I agree. And I think, Steve Smith, he has not been high on Bech. And I think that's why Bech had that interaction with Steve Smith. Yeah. Was because of the comments that Steve Smith said in the past about him saying that he needs to play tight end. He's too slow. Like this is what he was saying when pre-draft, like. But we'll see. I like
Ryan Holmes said the same thing.
Yeah, he did. He thought it was an overdraft too as well. But we'll see, man. I'm hoping for the best in terms of like if we can get some value out of it. Because the 4th round pick in Dante Thornton, man,
disgusting.
everybody kind of. We've been talking about it for a minute. Like, does he get cut? Does he get cut? And literally, now everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody's kind of because everybody can see the writing on the wall. Like, he's hurt. Different coaching staff hasn't really.
I think it's a stash move, man. I think him being hurt. I think they kind of saw the writing on the wall. I think they maybe they want to salvage it, see if he can turn into anything at all. Don't want to give up on, because right now he's not good enough to make the roster. I think they realized that already.
Right.
But I think he has good work ethic, so maybe they want to give him a year and see, dash him on IR and say, let's see what you can turn into next year. And then if we got to make that decision at that point, then we do. But right now he's not good enough to make this roster. That was a guy I was a fan of when we drafted him. You put me onto him. We both thought he should go later, like 6th. Not in the 4th, but we thought this is a guy you can take a chance on, a guy with this height, this kind of speed. Right. Take a chance on him, see if he can add a different dynamic to the offense. The only dynamic he's added is inconsistent wide receiver play, and we had plenty of that already. So, it's a sad situation.
Yeah,
and so we'll see. And full disclosure, comments that Steve Smith made, these were made before Jack Bech had the pretty good preseason game that he had, where he made 2 really tough catches and had the nice touchdown grab as well. So these were made prior to that. Do I think they would have changed his outlook on what Jack Bech is as a player? No, I don't think that preseason game should change anybody's outlook on what he is as a player. Maybe you can be hopeful that he can, do a little bit more than you previously thought. But overall, he's just not a second round level talent at wide receiver. And we're hoping that he can be a contributor on this offense. I'm not going to go as far as Pharaoh said last week and say he's an integral part of this offense. But I hope that he can be a contributing factor in the offense.
You don't like that? You don't like that?
I don't like the integral part. The integral word, but
We'll see. If you said stash Dante Thornton and trash, that stash him in just trash. Because look, at the end of the day, man, for anybody wondering, it was a clip from Steve Smith's YouTube channel. They had like a video on like the Raiders wide receiver room. They talked about guys like Jalen Naylor, who they feel like is probably going to be the guy that they're going to cater the offense to from the wide receiver position. We all know Brock Bowers is going to be the number 1 option in that offense, but if they're talking from a wide receiver perspective, they feel like Jalen Naylor is going to be a guy that they're going to feature, especially in the intermediate part of the field. He's versatile. They can move him around. And then they talked about Trey Tucker. He kind of got on Trey Tucker too. Yeah. He's like, he feels like he's not a good route runner. He has a limited route tree, and it's like something that he hasn't improved on since he got into the league. This is what he's saying about Trey Tucker. And he's going to play the Rashid Shaheed role in his team. And he literally went on to say, like, Malik Benson is already better. Yeah. Like, they're realizing, like, he's gonna be the starter at some point. That's crazy. That's wild, like, to even think that. Especially a guy that you would call him trash. You call him trash at Oregon.
Oh yeah. I was calling him Mike Dixon, but he wasn't super productive at Oregon. But
he wasn't a punt returner for them. And to be honest with you, like, their offense, it was like everybody. There was really no true number 1. Maybe the tight end. Oh, you know what? Hey, Malik Benson has experience playing with some.
The tight end is one.
Hey, maybe fit right in. You know what I mean? Just do what you got to do, and we already have a brock Bowers here to handle the. Yep. So we'll see.
Hey, like you pointed out, that's perfect. He has experience in the offense where there's no number 1 wide receiver, and truly the best weapon is your tight end. And remember, they had 2 tight ends. Obviously Kenyon Sneak was the main guy, but they got another tight end that a lot of people think this year is going to be the guy. Obviously, the Raiders have Brock Bowers, who's the best receiving tight end in the league, and they have Michael Mayer, who is a good starting level tight end in and of himself. So, they got this. It's the similar dynamic for Malik Benson. Similar dynamic.
Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Oh, I also want to mention he did give big shout outs to Raiders wide receiver coach.
He did.
His co-host was like, "Oh, a good coach in Zach Azzanni," and he's like, "No, great coach,
yeah."
And he broke down the reasons why he feels like he was a great coach.
Yeah.
So that's a big plus for the Raiders. They got someone back there that can coach the position and develop players. So, and that's
is that the guy with that's the guy with the receiver coach?
Does he got a unibrow? I don't know.
Is that the guy that look like Teen Wolf?
I
think that's the falafel. I think that's the guy that look like he. That's the guy that look like he's selling falafels. Look like he got a gyro stand.
Hold on, let me see. He got a unibrow. I didn't know that.
That's the guy that got the gyro stand.
Let me see. Let me take a look here. Far from it. Honestly.
Oh no! I'm thinking, no, what? That's not. Nah, that's the other guy. That's not the. That's the. I'm thinking about somebody else. That's the guy that came from the small school. That's the other guy. Zach Azzanni is like the P pale. He's super pale.
Yeah, we don't. What are you talking about? With Zach Azzanni, I'm actually surprised. I didn't know like Zach Azzanni is actually completely.
Yeah. He's the ball-headed guy. I'm thinking, who's the guy I'm thinking about? Damn, he's like the assistant running backs coach or the run game coordinator, I think.
No, he don't got a unibrow though.
You know what I'm talking about though?
Yeah.
he looked like he sell falafel. He looked like don't mess with the Zohan.
Yeah. No, he don't. He's not. He don't have a unibrow. But that. You're goofy, bro. You're goofy, man. But we're not done yet. We got another notable quotable.
Facts.
What we got?
The Raiders, recently they attempted to make a trade involving star defensive end Max Crosby, and it gave people some PTSD about a previous time the Raiders also traded a star defensive end. And what's ironic is that the Raiders look-he got a better deal trading Max if it had gone through than what we got the previous one.
Yeah.
But obviously everybody knows I'm talking about the Khalil Mack trade. And to this day, many people, they hold that trade against John Gruden. And hearing Khalil Mack talk, maybe some sweet vindication for good old Chuggy.
Oh, perfect.
It was a mix of Jack Del Rio leaving and then John Gruden coming in. And my agent let me know, like, hey, John is very good with his words, so you might need to avoid all contact.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, because I know you love football, and if you talk to him and he'll convince you to do something you probably would regret doing. I'm like, all right.
What was one of the things that your agent was worried about you doing?
Yeah, it's just the fact that I love football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love to be around my guys, and going through that process of not being there for OTAs and you missing out on training camp. And my first game, I only had 4 or 5 days to prepare for the first game against Green Bay going to Chicago. And so just that whole process of not being with my guys, it was tough. I feel like that was the hardest part of that process, not being with your guys, with Derek Carr and dudes, man.
Right.
Bruce Irvin, Justin Ellis.
Man. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense how that situation went down. It was like there's so much things that go into it, especially when you trade a guy like that. There's a lot that go into it, and we've heard a lot of different things too. There was remember at the time people were talking about the Raiders having cash, that there's a cash flow issue, so that's why it was kind of hurting them in negotiations. Then a third, but hey, look, at the end of the day, man, it's crazy that they didn't sign Khalil Mack, like their blue chip player. See, and that's why the Raiders are not, the Raiders are the Raiders, man. For the last how many years, they haven't been a good franchise because they haven't made really good decisions. But you can make an argument that the Raiders technically won the trade in terms of the value that they got back, because literally, what was it, 2 years or 3 years into the deal, they trade away Khalil Mack?
Yeah.
Or 2 years?
But we low-key wasted. I mean, so we got Josh Jacobs out of the deal. I forgot
we lost it in that what we lost is we didn't take advantage of the picks. Like we didn't.
Josh Jacobs was a solid pick. Josh Jacobs was a solid pick. I forgot what our other first we did.
One pick.
Yeah, I forgot what the other pick was because
Abrams. Was it Abrams?
No, that was the Amari pick.
Okay, then not Abrams. Then the cornerback.
Oh, was it Arnett? Oh yeah. Oh, Arnett. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ugly.
Oh my god. Yeah. We lost. We got it in the value, but we definitely lost it in terms of execution. Definitely lost it in terms of execution. But what's crazy what's ironic though is like people like if you read people, you can tell when people are like full of shit, and you can see like when they were asking Khalil Mack questions, he was like, "Oh man, I just love football so much." Like, bro, why don't you answer like what were you afraid he was gonna convince you to do? He's like, "Oh man, I just love football so much." Like what? Like, nah, that's not answering the question, bro. Like, basically, Khalil Mack had made up his mind he didn't want to be back in Vegas or be back in Oakland. He made up his mind he was not coming back to Oakland, and his agent was scared that John Gruden would be able to talk him into coming back to Oakland. And Khalil Mack, that was against what Khalil Mack wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Because other than that, like, why would you be afraid of him talking to John at all? If unless your intention was already like, yeah, my intentions are to leave this team. Like, those are my intentions.
Cole Kmet? Was that the pick that they drafted in the second round? Was Cole Kmet?
Oh yeah, because we traded. We got two. That's why I said the Max trade was looking better, because in the Mac trade we got 2 first, but you traded them a second. With the Max trade, we just got 2 first straight up. But yeah, so like, yeah, the whole I love football thing. Like, it remind me is like, remember R. Kelly was doing an interview with Gayle King, and he's like, I just love too much. I'm just guilty of loving too much. Like what does that have to do? Like, that's not answering the question. Like, bro, like, yeah, what were you afraid he was going to convince you to do it? And the answer is you were afraid he was going to convince you to come back to Oakland. And obviously Mac didn't want to do that.
Yeah. And I think he didn't want to come to Oakland unless he got like the type of money that he wanted to get in playing in Oakland, or playing for a team like, because you think about it, he didn't have the success that he wanted early on. Because he wanted to play some meaningful games too. A lot of sometimes those, when they negotiate the contract, they want to get the money, but they also want to go to a situation where they feel like they're going to have some success on the football field. Yeah. So to give like Max credit, like, I feel like the Raiders did a good job of like kind of like continuing to bring back Max, and Max kind of just buying in, and that's why I'm like, for me, like with Max, I'm like, I was never tripping that he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
It was like, this is what it is. Like, let it be a value. Let it work out for the Raiders in terms of getting some value back. That's where I was at.
Yeah.
I don't want a situation where we lose a good player for nothing. That's just how I feel about it. But
yeah, I'll never fault a player for wanting to leave a situation that they're not happy with or they don't think is productive for them or their careers. I take issue with how they do it, and if they gaslight fans on the way out. Like, Antonio Brown was disrespectful about it. If Antonio Brown had been respectful about it, like, you know what, this is not working for me. I appreciate you guys bringing me over here. I don't think this is going to work out. Can you trade me? Cool. Same with Devontae. If Devontae is like, went to the Raiders and said, you know what, this isn't working for me. I thought it was going to be something else. I came here to play with Derek. Derek's no longer here. Can you get me out of here? Cool. And then keep your mouth shut about it. But when you start to gaslight people, like, I don't know what they talk about me asking for a trade. Like, when you start to gaslight people and you start lying about it and doing shady, sneaky stuff, that's when it's like, come on, bro. Like, we too grown for that. We are too grown for that. Just keep it real. Just keep it real. That's why I've never got mad at Jacoby. Jacoby asked for his money. They didn't give it to him. Then he asked for a trade. And when they asked him about it, he's like, you know what? Did you like when you talk to the Raiders? Did you ask them for a trade again? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, what did they say? He's like, they told me no. He's like, but he just kept it a buck, right? He didn't obfuscate. He wasn't, shifty or weird about it. He's just like, you know what? Just asked for a trade. They told me no. He's like, but in the meantime, I'm going to be out there for my brothers. And he showed up to everything, to voluntary and involuntary. So that's how I respect how he handled it.
DC saying realistically how many wins this season. So we didn't do our predictions.
We did,
but like we did it at like really early, super early. But like
mine ain't changed.
What did you say?
4 and 13.
What did I
possibly?
Say? What did I say?
I don't remember. You were not. The thing, you were at 5. You weren't like much higher. You were like 5 or 6. You weren't much higher than me. But the difference is I had us beating the Saints, and I was like, look, if we mess around and lose to the Saints, we could be 3 and 14. And you're like, come on, we ain't losing to the Saints, the Browns, and the Jets.
Damn, Saints could sneaky game too. Yeah. It's because it's in New Orleans too.
Yeah. I'm gonna be down there for that game.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's gonna be a cool game. Man, I want to say 6 and 11. That's really positive. Like
double. That's good. I'd be happy with that.
Because I want to see. I'm giving them like an improvement in the win column, but technically for me, improvement doesn't have to come in the win column.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Improvement to me is just young players getting better, and there's a clear direction of where this team is going. And sometimes, like I said, it doesn't come in the win column, especially for a team that's rebuilding. There's some clear big holes. You could talk about the wide receiver position. You could talk about like this middle of the defense, starting with defensive tackle. Like, this is multiple times where we're hearing that the Raiders are having issues stopping the run. And I'm talking about joint practice, talking about preseason. If the Raiders can't do that, if the Raiders can't get off the field, if the Raiders are going to struggle on defense, then maybe Kirk Cousins is going to be starting perhaps more than half the season, because it's like, all right, because now you're putting Mendoza in like tough situations where he doesn't have the run game on his side. He doesn't have, he's going to be in situations where he's going to have to like pass, you know what I mean? Where it's obvious situation where, the play caller in Clint Kubiak can't protect him in certain ways. So, man, that's going to be tough. That's why I'm like, all right, man, that's why like where I use the word scapegoat, because if that is the reason why the Raiders are like not winning games, then it's like, okay, you can see
you, buddy.
You can see, bro, and especially because they're gonna go into next offseason, they're gonna prioritize the weakness on his team, and then they're gonna get a big name defensive coach.
Yeah,
think about like
in a much like more robust, crop of coaches on the defensive side of the ball.
Like Robert, like, all right, let's who's a defensive coach right now that Schwartz would be nice, but I think he's under contract. He's going to be looking for a head coaching job.
Yeah, but I think he can get out of it. He can get out of it
if he gets a head coaching job.
I don't think. I think they don't want to let him out of it this year just because of the optics of it. Because obviously they were expecting him to be there, and then he kind of stepped away from the team because of how everything happened. So I think they didn't want to let him out of his contract this year. But I think if they get a year removed, I think they'll be more inclined to, let him do whatever he wants to do and not try to hold him hostage. Because at that point, it starts to look, right now they look like they're on the right. But if you let it go on for too long, then it starts to, it'll turn the Saints, not the Saints, it'll turn the Browns to like a bad organization, or it'll be perceived like less like, favorability.
Hey, chill, Ray. I'm with you, bro. I'm not really. Look, if we can get a top pick next draft,
yeah.
Now we're talking. Now you legitimately can get a premier pass rusher, or you can get like a top wide receiver. I think that's what you're kind of implying right here. Jeremiah Smith, Cam Coleman, But then, you can get a pass rusher on the other side. I mean, are the Raiders going to re-sign Kuntz? Let's say Kuntz has a big year. Are they going to re-sign him? It's a big deal. You see that happening? You know what I mean? They could easily go a different direction, possibly. Or, depending. I don't know if there's really good offensive line coming out this year. I don't know if. To me, it's either pass rusher or wide receiver.
Yeah, like I said, man, my guy Colin Simmons, Jeremiah Smith, my two guys. I know you like Dylan Stewart, but my two guys, Colin Simmons, Jeremiah Smith.
Because Colin Smith, he got something that the Raiders haven't had at the pass rusher position. I think. Damn, I don't think ever.
Yeah, he just got
maybe Clemens, and I'm talking about like a guy that was pure speed. Was not Clement Burgess. Burgess was speed. Was
Derek Burgess? Yeah.
Like a speedy pass rusher off the edge, right?
Yeah.
But
Chris Clemens was too. Chris Clemens was clean too. We let him go.
Yeah, like Khalil Mack was power guy.
Max is like quickness, technician, effort.
Fast, but he's more bendy. You got bend. Max is like athletic.
Skillful. He's quick, good technician. Good technician, good play recognition.
Yeah, we haven't had a guy like can just get off the edge, pure speed, like Von Miller type, because that's what Colin Smith.
Yeah, Colin Simmons that's what reminds me of, man. He reminds me of like a baby Von, and he got the ghost move. He got bend too. He's a leader. Like he checks all the boxes. He plays for a good organization in the Longhorn. So it's coming from somewhere where they're gonna he's been coached well. So obviously Jeremiah Smith will be the prize pick. Pairing him with Fernando Mendoza. But I already said, bro, if we get a high pick, I'm gonna be low key hot, man. I'll be low key hot because I already said.
Hi. Well, hi.
I already said what we should have did this year.
Oh,
we should have did this year.
I forgot. Wembley, Cameron Wembley. That's
Cameron Wembley. Yeah, he was kind of. He wasn't pure speed though. I don't think
he had like more, like athleticism. Like he just yeah.
But you already know what I want to do this year. I wanted to trade back and just load up on picks and just fill out the roster. And then I figured we was gonna be people. Oh, you can't expect us to be bad 2 years in a row. Like we're the Raiders, bro. Yes, I can.
They have leverage next because now they have a quarterback. They have the quarterback. Now they can actually trade back next year. Let's say if there's a quarterback.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like
they could trade. But damn, if there's let's say if
they can't though, can they? Because if Simmons or Jeremiah Smith or Cam Coleman or Dylan Stewart are there, you got to take them.
If they're top three, right? If they're in the top three, let's say they're number 2 or 3. Let's say 2 would be crazy. That'd actually probably be
disgusting.
That'd be disgusting. That'd be an ugly season to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god, bro.
There's no way around it.
If we're top 2,
there's no way around it. Like if the Raiders are number 2 pick, that is an ugly season, no matter what. But let's say if they got the number 3, the 3rd pick. Damn, how many quarterbacks coming out this year? It's so much. We don't know. We don't know who's gonna ball out this year. We don't know how many quarterbacks are coming out. How many quarterbacks would have to come out in order for the Raiders to have trade value at number 3? Because it's gonna be for a quarterback, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you need if you're in you need it to be for the draft position you're at, basically. Hey, but the thing is, you need the top 2. You need the teams in front of you to not need quarterbacks or to need quarterbacks too. That's the problem. You need the teams in front of you to need quarterbacks as well.
So Cardinals are for sure about to get a quarterback. The Jets.
Cardinals know what time it is. Cardinals ain't trying to win no games. Aaron Glenn is different because Aaron Glenn, I think he almost has to try to win games because he's in year 2. You can't be that's bad 2 years in a row and have job security. Even though Woody Johnson kind of gave him a pass for last year because of Justin Fields, because how bad Justin Fields is. You can't be that bad 2 years in a row.
They got Geno Smith.
Yeah, you can't be that bad 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So, but then look, you got Geno Smith, but then look, we talked about their skill position players. You got Garrett Wilson and Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper and A.D. Mitchell and Breece Hall.
Yeah,
they got skill position players over there.
They got pieces.
They got They got legit skill position players. The only person we're worried about is Geno. And if Geno could just over here, he low-key had to do more because we were so bad everywhere.
Look,
he doesn't have to do that there.
Put it this way: if the Raiders are like somewhere, they're in the top 3, and there's a quarterback up there, and they only have to drop like maybe 1 or 2 spots, that means they're going to be guaranteed to get like a top player. Yeah,
we're guaranteed. Jeremiah Smith is probably gone already at that point, but we're going to get Simmons, Dylan Stewart, or Cam Coleman.
Yeah, but hey, look, we don't know. Hey, look, that's we're just.
But we low-key need the Cardinals and the Jets in front of us. Hey, we low-key need them in front of us.
Raider Nation 510, man. Vita V is not coming to the Raiders, man. It's not happening.
Bro, Raider Nation 510, he's the most positive Raider fan I've ever seen. He still believes in Dante Thornton. He still think Tyree Wilson is going to be a good player. He think this team is going to be good somehow. He thinks Jack Beck's going to be productive. He just said Cameron Crawford has Joey Porter in his game. Joey Porter, Steelers Joey Porter. He the most positive Raider fan I've ever encountered.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, man, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just,
nothing wrong with it at all.
Just understand, it's nothing wrong with being cautiously optimistic.
Keyword is cautiously.
You gotta be cautious. You just gotta understand, like, hey, this is a rebuilding team, and don't be surprised if, like, they're not gonna win a lot of games just because, like, they have a lot of things they got to figure out. There's a lot of young players on this football team. Look, I'm not out on their secondary. I know the secondary. I'm hearing them having struggles in camp at times, especially during the joint practice and preseason. But I'm not out on them. Oh, I heard McCoy played better though. There were some reps. He had some good reps against like Nico Collins. Yeah. I think he had a good rep against Nico Collins, which is a good experience against a premier player, but a pretty good player.
Yeah.
At the position. So
he's a top 10-ish receiver.
He's 20 years old, bro.
Yeah, bro. He's 20. I want to say he just turned 22.
He's 20 years old. That's wild. That's wild, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to click and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Here we go. We got what's real, what's not. This is where we say a statement. Y'all react to it if it's real or it's not. And obviously we do the same. Severe, what we got this week for what's real, what's not.
This week for what's real, what's not, statement is the Raiders will have a worse rushing defense or worse run defense than they had last year. The Raiders will have, let's say statistically, a worse run defense than last year. Because people are like, well, it's the stats say this, but the eye test say this. Statistically, they will have a worse run defense this year than they had last
year. Oof, man. The thing is, they improved at linebacker. Max. Max is a guy that's gonna he's gonna set the edge. Obviously, Kwity Paye is a guy that's gonna set the edge, but it's that middle of that defense. I don't know if maybe they can pick someone up before the season starts. But man, that's a worse defense last year. I'm gonna say not
worst run defense, particularly run defense.
I'm gonna say not real. I'm gonna say not real. I don't want to look.
Where do you? So let me ask you this. So before you finalize that answer, before you lock it in, like Regis Philbin on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, is that your final answer? Where do you think we were ranked last year in terms of run defense? Like, if you had to guess.
Probably bottom 5.
No. We were 14th in yards per game. In terms of rushing yards per game allowed, we were 14th. That's what I'm saying. People want to shit on Patrick Graham. If you look at the numbers, we've never really we haven't been horrible. Especially if you look at like the real dynamic numbers, like we're one of the best teams in terms of teams on their first drive not getting a score or us forcing a turnover. We're one of the better teams in terms of that. We're one of the better third down teams. Like we were really like pretty good in a lot of areas where we shouldn't have been that good based on the talent that we had. We were the 14th ranked rushing defense in terms of rushing yards per game allowed. So, and you think about it, teams were beating our ass so much they should have been running the ball. So those stats are kind of inflated a little bit.
Yeah. Nah, I like Patrick Graham. I like Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham, I just think he never really had talent on that defense, and he was able to like make the best of the situation. I know a lot of people were kind of like fed up with him, but like it's just more about like the Raiders defense kind of like they're not really giving any context to Patrick Graham. Like last year, for example, right? Last year where you said that they were 14th, it wasn't really his defense.
Yeah.
100% of the way. It was, there was a little bit of Patrick. It was a Pete Carroll in there.
Yeah, it wasn't his scheme.
It wasn't his scheme. So there's a lot of things that were happening on the defense last year that like Patrick Graham wasn't doing it in previous years, even though that was his 4th year with the team. So you would think like, but that was then, and Patrick Graham has since went to the Steelers. So we'll see how it goes with him over there. I know he wants to eventually become a head coach. That's kind of been his thing. He just hasn't had the opportunity, but we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, man, top 14. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say that's real. Then I'm gonna say it's real because I think it's gonna be worse. Then it's gonna be worse.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably real too. And 5'10", Benito Jones got cut already. They cut him after the preseason. He was pitiful in the preseason game. They cut him. They cut him right after the preseason. I want to say they cut him to bring on. They might have cut him to bring on that offensive tackle. If not, they cut him to bring on Noah Brown.
You know what? I want to see who's available in free agency right now.
In terms of what?
Before we head out of here, NFL free agency.
There's some guys out there. Bobby Okereke. He's still out there. That's a guy I think can bring. That's some depth in the linebacker room. I'd love to have that. Get rid of Tommy Eichenberg and bring him in. I like Cody. I like what Cody brought to the table. Tommy Eichenberg was terrible.
Taylor Decker, Joey Bosa, Cam Robinson. These are guys that are the top players that I'm looking at.
Taylor Decker is like 31, 32. Cam Robinson, I don't know, but he's
Smith, Bobby Wagner, Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, Mekhi Becton. No, we know the deal on Mekhi Becton.
His injury.
Yeah, and then I think Cam Robinson is often injured too. Like I said, Bobby Wagner is like 37, 38.
I need a more complete list. Let's see. Let's.
I'm about to.
I know. Keenan Allen just signed with the Colts.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I think that's a good move for them. It's a good move for them.
All right, let's take a look. I'm gonna look at defensive tackle and see who are the best available defensive tackles here. Let's see, interior D lineman. We got Daquan Jones, Larry Ogunjobi. Let me see. Jihad Ward's a free agent.
Jihad Ward's had some solid years.
Yeah,
was he just with the? Nah, he wasn't just with the Texans. He was just with a pretty good team because old boys with the Texans.
Jordan Phillips.
Jordan Phillips. He's up there too. He was really good at one point.
Trying to look at some big guys. Let's take a look. Let's see if there's. Eddie Goldman.
Eddie Goldman has got to be 100 years old. I remember he's from the Bears, right?
From the Bears. He's 32 years old.
Yeah, he got to be up there.
Round
true nose tackles age all right, to be honest with you, if they're not oft injured. I think Eddie Goldman has a history of injuries though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So it would have to be like Spy Tech would have to pull a Amari Cooper type to try. He might have to be,
bro.
He got to scour because this is not. And I know they picked up a defensive tackle.
What's BJ Raji doing?
I know.
What's our boy that we got brought over from? We brought over from.
Christian Wilkins is still not signed with the team.
Still not signed. Yeah, it gotta be. It's something there.
Ooh.
Something there.
Hey, so the Raiders.
Because look, they're bringing Terry and Arnold is getting visits.
And he just got indicted.
He's got indicted for like kidnapping.
Yeah, basically. 6'3", 320, Eddie Goldman.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Just bring him in to see what it looks like.
I mean, Folu Fadakasi, he's like 31, 32 as well. But I don't think he has the injury history. But like I said, though, the Texans essentially drafted Caden McDonald to replace him.
Right.
So you don't want to operate like that where it's like we can't, but we could have had Caden McDonald.
Yeah.
And we just chose.
So we might see something improved within the next, once he's kind of accumulated, like he's added to the, the defensive line, and we'll see, man. That's just one of the big question marks is that the defensive tackle position, wide receiver. There's some youth in the secondary. Rob Leonard is a big question mark. It's really the defense, and then you think about the offense, wide receiver, offensive line. You could technically see it's a question mark just because we gotta see some level of consistency, and hopefully they can go out there and go. We got some Mendoza haters in here. Oh man, that's too bad, man. That's too bad. That's too bad, man. Yeah. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in. At this point, clock out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Yeah. Not really a lot of options available in free agency. So they would have to, if they really want to get someone, it would be via trade. And I don't think they would be just to answer someone's question again in the chat. They're talking about via. I don't think that would be possible because I know that. So the GM is basically Spytek's old boss.
Yeah, Jason Light.
He's come out and said we're not looking to trade him. So what that means, the value.
Exactly.
They're gonna be wanting top notch debt value. That's they're trying to make sure they can get the right deal in order to trade him.
Exactly.
Because came out and said like I don't want to play. Like he basically came out and said he wanted to get traded. Like so, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that situation, man. But Severe, man, let people know what they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man, you guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, True Social, everywhere. The Severe Raider, man. Holla at your boy. Tuesdays and Thursdays is my dog, PharoahNFL, the 50-50 show in the Round the Shield. Sundays and Wednesdays in the Raider Roll Room with Christopher from Protect the Shield, 805 Raider. I did a Monday show yesterday, man. Monday's a little, experimental. We hit on a whole bunch of different topics, man. A lot of different things, man. So I was trying to, broaden my horizons a little bit. But I will be at the Week 1 game. I'm not going inside, but I'll be out there tailgating. I will be in New Orleans as well for the New Orleans game, tailgating with the crew. And we'll, I'm gonna be out there with Chris and Turf. So if they decide they want to go to the game, I might go to. I've never been in the Superdome, so we'll see. Then I will be going to the Jets game as well. So if anybody is on the East Coast, anybody's in that area, I will be at the Jets game as well, man. So holla at your boy. Tap in with me, man. Hit me on IG if you're gonna be at any of those games. And yeah, man, we'll see what this season holds for us.
There you go, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in. At this point, clock out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And you can find me all over social media, PharoahNFL. Obviously, subscribe to the channel, PharoahNFL, Las Vegas Raiders, PharoahNFL, and also Around the Shield on IG, on X. Definitely give us a follow there. And yeah, man, hey, we go live weekly. Hopefully we'll be back later this week. Around the Shield. We might. You want to do the post game? Because I know.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Do a post game. I know the last week we kind of pushed it to Friday. It was a pretty good show. We had rundown on there. Hopefully we can get someone on this week and have a dope conversation about the game, the team, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I like that like I said, Clint Kubiak has Mendoza out there playing a whole lot of snaps, because he's gonna need it. He needs the opportunity, because this is the time. If you're gonna sit him, then he has to get it somewhere, right? So we'll see how it shakes out, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through and supporting the show as always. Anybody watching the replay, definitely leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the show, the conversation, the team, the state of the team, and where it's headed to, and what you think about the season. I know we kind of gave a little bit of the prediction. It hasn't changed for Severe. He says it's going to be only 4 wins. I'm saying 5. I'm saying 5 to 6. I think that's probably where I was at, 5 to 6. So I'll probably stick with that too. I really don't see anything, and I'm not, and I just want to be clear, and I think Severe could probably agree with this. You're not judging this team based off wins and losses. You're judging this team on completely different things, and that's just like I said, the young players getting better, having belief in the coaching staff as well. There's just a general direction where this team is headed, and I think if they can show that, then we've seen teams progress after having good drafts and just going in the right direction. We've seen 2014 happen, then 2015 was 7-9, and went from 4-12, that 7-9, and then eventually 12-4. That was we seen that project. It just fell off real quick though.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to Jack and man, and Derek Carr for that situation. But it is what it is, man. But hey, look, we'll be back later this week, man. Definitely tune in. It's gonna be a post game affair after that Houston Texans game, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Nah, man. As Pharaoh already said, man, this season is not about wins and losses. It's about making progress. I don't really care what the record is at the end of the year, as long as the team shows some growth and they're on the right trajectory. I'm gonna be happy with the outcome.
Yeah, 100%, man. We'll see y'all later this week, man. Peace.